Greetings, this is yours truly, Lord Karo, welcome to my domain. Swordsman Deku Part 2. 1 week later. Hey Snowflake and Airhead, are you two ready to go and meet up with Chiyo and Torino? Asked Izuku. Give us a little bit then we can leave, said Nejire. 10 minutes later. Okay, we are ready to go now. We can go now Zuzu, said Nejire. Okay, let's get going to my bike then we can leave, said Izuku, after they got on the bike. Hey Airhead. I have a question for you, said Izuku. What is your question Zuzu? Asked Nejire. How has Tintin been doing with OFA? Asked Izuku. Well, I think that I have heard that he has been going to recover girl more and more lately. I also think that he is starting to gain some irreversible damage. So I say that if he does not get better control over it he will not be able to be a hero in a few months. But you would have to ask Recover Girl to be sure how it is doing, said Nejire. Okay, I will do that Airhead. Let's get going to the graveyard, said Izuku. After he said that he started to dive to the graveyard where Shiru's grave was, 20 minutes later. We are here now. We just need to want for Chiyo and Torino to get here, said Izuku. After he said that he parked his bike and shut it off, 15 minutes later. Well, it seems like they have got here. Let's go and meet them, said Izuku. After he said that they all headed to the UA car. Hello there, how are you going today? Said Izuku. After he said that he helped Chiyo get out of the car. Good morning Izuku. I'm doing good and thank you for helping me out of the car, said Chiyo. May I know if Torino is with you? Asked Izuku. Yes, he is with me. But we also brought Nezu with us, said Chiyo. If I had to guess the reason he came with you is because he knew Shuru, said Izuku. Yes, you are right Sonny, that is right, he was one of the people that had taught him things, said Chiyo. After she said that everyone was out of the UA car and was ready to go to Shuru's grave. Okay, now that everyone is here we can start heading to Shuru's grave and visit him, plus you can see his wife's grave as well, said Izuku. After he said that he headed to Shuru's grave with everyone who came to see Shuru's grave. 5 minutes later. Okay, this is his grave. The one on the right is Shuru's grave and the one on the left is Rin Tasaka, who is his wife, said Izuku. After he said that he started to clean the gravestones of the two. Hey Snowflake, you can come over to me with the flowers that I gave you? Asked Izuku. Yes, I can daddy. After she said that she came over to Izuku with the flowers. Here you go daddy, said Eri. Thank you Snowflake, but do you want to put the flowers on their gravestones? Asked Izuku. I would like to do that daddy. But how much should I put on each grave daddy? Asked Eri. Well, you can put half of them on one and the other half on the other, said Izuku. Okay, I will do that daddy. After she said that she put about half of them on each grave. 30 minutes later. Everyone was ready to leave. See you later, said Izuku. After he said that he, Eri, and Nejire headed to Izuku's bike after saying goodbye, the next day. Hey Zuzu, you need to wake up, so we can go to school today, said Nejire. 5 more minutes Airhead, Izuku said with his head between his arms and was muffled. You do not have 5 more minutes, we need to have breakfast and then go to UA, said Nejire. Oh right, you two cannot cook to save your life, so I need to make breakfast, mumbled Izuku. After he said that he got up so he could make food. Go and make sure that Snowflake is up. After Izuku said that he had just entered the kitchen. 20 minutes later. Breakfast is done so come and we can eat, yelled out Izuku. After he was done saying that there was a blue shape with white in it. Yay food, yelled out Eri and Nejire at the same time. Calm down the two of you. You two will get some food, said Izuku, after he said that he passed out the food. Thank you Zuzu, daddy, said Eri and Nejire, after they said that everyone started to eat breakfast. 10 minutes later. Go and get ready for school you two, said Izuku, after he said that Nejire and Eri left to get ready for school. I need to gather my things from my workroom. After Izuku was done thinking that, he went to his workroom and gathered his things. 5 minutes later. Okay, now I will start up my bike. After he thought that he headed to the garage to start up his bike. 10 minutes later. I wonder what is taking them so long. It also like I'm going to need to refill my bike soon. After he was done thinking that he entered the kitchen from the garage. Hey, we need to leave, yelled Izuku. After he was done saying that Nejire and Eri came down. Why do we need to leave so early daddy? Asked Eri. Well Snowflake, we are going to need to stop at a gas station, so I can refill my bike. How about this Snowflake, you and mama can go and get something from the gas station, said Izuku. Okay daddy, we can do that, said Eri. 3 weeks later in class 1A. Okay class, you all will be doing something today, said Aizawa. After he said that and before he was able to say anything else the door was slammed open by midnight. But she was not alone, there was also ectoplasm. Okay kiddies, all will be starting to make some supper movers and in about 2 weeks you all have to do the provisional hero license exam. So you all will be following us to Gym Gamma, said Midnight, after she said that she left the room and headed to Gym Gamma with Aizawa and ectoplasm. A little later all of class 1A followed them, 20 minutes later at Gym Gamma. Okay, you all will be having one of my clones with you, said Ectoplasm, after he said that he made one clone for every student. Oh, I would also like to give you all a suggestion, you try to make improvements to your hero costume, said Aizawa, 30 minutes later with Izuku. Now that I'm done with the blueprint for my new hero costume, once I get home I will start to make it. But I think that it will take me about 3 weeks with no distractions. However, with some distractions it should take about 1 possibly 2 months. That can wait until I head home today. After Izuku was done thinking that he got up and decided to make a new super move. Hey Ectoplasm, can I use one of your clones? I want to try something out. Yes you can, said Ectoplasm, after he said that he made a clone for Izuku. Once the clone of Ectoplasm was with Izuku. What do you need me to do? Asked the clone of ectoplasm. Well, I'm going to try to remake an attack a villain used that I have fought before. All I really need is someone to use it on. This attack was called something like Combo Star. It was used by someone in a group that was called the 10 Commandments. It was used by Nejire of Purity. She was a villain but she was one good fighter, said Izuku. May I know how you know that Midoriya-san? That group was covered over by all the governments, said Ectoplasm. Well, I know that they were covered up. But the reason I know that is because I was one of the people who fought them. I was a part of the group called 7 Deadly Sins. I'm the Fox Sin and I was called Ban when I was a part of the group. After he said that, he lifted up his shirt to show the clone of Ectoplasm his fox tattoo. I was one of the few people who had the chance of fighting her, but I was never alone. She was always with Monspeed of Reticence. That fucker was hard to fight. When you need to fight someone, how if they start getting some punches landing on you, the damage would go up more after each punch that lands on you. But we are getting distracted. I want to try to remake that attack, said Izuku, after he said that he started to attempt remaking Combo Star. 1 hour and a half later and 50 clones of Ectoplasm. Holy shit, that was hard to remake, but I was able to remake it, but I can go up to 60 times, not 54 times like Nejire. But I know that I will not be able to get any higher than what I got today. Thought Izuku. Thank you, Ectoplasm. I'm done for today. I do not need any more clones, said Izuku. 2 weeks later at Takoba National Stadium. Okay, everyone get in the building, said Aizawa, but before they could leave, a group of people stopped them. The same thing goes as in canon. In the box, the same thing happens as I canon up to the when Class 1A was planning on what to do. Okay, I know that everyone will be coming after us, so we will need to stick together, said Izuku. What do you mean by that, Iken? Asked Kasimi. Well, they all will know what our quirks are. Because of the UA Sport Festival. They also will have some sort of an idea of how we use your quirks, said Izuku. What are we going to be doing them, Izuku-san? Asked Momo.
20 minutes later. Okay, you all know the plan, said Izuku. After he said that everyone except for a few let everyone know that they know the plan. The first part of the provisional hero license exam, but Izuku did not struggle as much as in canon.
Before the first exam was done with Aizawa and Ms. Joke. Hey Aizawa, did you let them know about the crushing of UA? Asked Ms. Joke. No, I did not, because I know that they will do just fine. The reason I say that is because there is one person who can lead, or you could say control everyone in 1A. But there are also 2 others who can lead them as well, said Aizawa. May I know how the 3 people who can lead Class 1A, Aizawa? Asked Joke. Well, I could let you know who they are, but I will just let you know the one who can control 1A. He is the one with white hair with light green stripes in it, or you may know him as Izuku Midoriya or Roronoa Izuku. But you may know him by his hero name Pirate Hunter Zoro or just Zoro. You may know him better as the only one how Mariko has been her intern, said Aizawa. Wait, you are saying that Roronoa Izuku is the only one who has been chosen by Mariko's intern? Joke asked by yelling. Yes, that is true, Joke, and you do not need to yell. I can hear you just fine. Let's watch the first part of the exam, said Aizawa, after he said that he ignored any other thing that Ms. Joke was saying, after the first part of the exam was over. Like I said, I did not need to worry about my class, Joke, they did not get crushed, said Aizawa, back with Class 1A and everyone who passed the first exam. With the announcer. Okay, everyone get ready for the next part of the exam, after he said that everyone had left the waiting room. You all will be rescuing civilians, start, said the announcer. Class 1A gather up, yelled at Izuku, and he released a little bit of Conqueror's Haki. We need a plan for this, said Izuku once everyone in 1A was around him. Do you have a plan, Izuku-san? Asked Momo. Yes, I do, Momo. You, Kaminari, Ojiro, Mineta, Siro and Yuga will be at the med area. Then for tracking there will be Jiro, Shoji, and Koda will let everyone know where people are. Then to transport the gathered civilians, Ida will be doing that with a cart that Momo will make. Then to gather the civilians there will be Tokiyami, Sato, Toru, Mina, Tsuyu, Ochako, and Kirishima, said Izuku. Iken, what about me, you, and Ice Hot? Asked Kasimi. Well, me, you and Ice Hot have the most important part, we will be on defense, said Izuku. Izuku-san, may I know why you 3 are going to be on defense? Asked Momo. Well, this seems too easy to me, so I say that there will be a surprise near the end of the exam. Momo, I would also like you to make walls around the med area so it can be defined. That is one reason why I put Denki and Yuga in the med area. They can defend until someone with a quirk that is better for fighting there to help. Split, said Izuku. After Izuku was done saying the plan, everyone did their part of the plan. 40 minutes later. Hey Izuku, I can hear many people in the walls, said Jiro over a walkie-talkie. Where are they and how many are there, Jiro? Asked Izuku. I cannot say how many there are, but there are 4 groups and each of them are to the north, south, east, and west, said Jiro. Okay, which group is the biggest or has the most? Asked Izuku. The biggest one is to the south and I think that there is a hero there as well, said Jiro. Okay, I will head that way and send the other 2 to one of the other places. Then I will find someone to the last area, said Izuku. Okay, Ice Hot, you need to go to the north end. There are some people that will come in soon. Kasimi, you will be going to the east end, the same goes for there. I will be going to the south end, after he said that they split up. On his way to the south end. Hey air fucker, I need you to go to the west end. There will be some people there, after Izuku said that he headed to the south end. Once Izuku got to the south end there was little time. Every hero student, if you have anyone with you, move fast and take them to the med area now. There are going to be some people coming here. I'm going to say that they are going to be representing a villain attack. yelled out Izuku. After Izuku said that the wall there and at the north, east, and west end all exploded. Author's note, for the ones who want to know what Izuku's new hero costume looks like, it is licked Bach from Plunderer. Izuku will also have the mask licked has. He still has his swords on his right hip, at the side end with Izuku. I wonder which hero will be here, thought Izuku, after Izuku was done thinking that the smoke had cleared. Once the smoke was gone, Izuku saw that the hero was Gang Orca and he was with some of his agency members. Fuck, I will be up ageist Gang Orca and I'm not fully recovered from the torture that happened about 1 month age. But that will not change anything. I usually fight with some sort of disadvantage. I will most likely need to use my haki on the henchman. After Izuku was done thinking, the Gang Orca sent out a sonic blast and Izuku sent a wave of Conqueror's haki.
Well, look at what we have here, one little hero that is going to try to stop me and my henchmen, said Gang Orca.
Do you really think that you are the scariest person that I have fought, little Orca? Because if so, you are completely wrong. I do not need to deal with your henchmen as you say. I have already done that. I may still be recovering from being tortured for about 2 weeks straight by the love, said Izuku. After he said that, he shot off to attack Gang Orca with his fists covered in armament haki. Shit, his is faster than what I thought he was going to be. I know that there was a UA student who was kidnapped, but I thought that he was a green-haired person, not a white-haired person, thought Gang Orca. After he was done thinking that he had to block the attack from Izuku's haki-covered fist. Shit, that hit was hard to block and he hits hard as hell, thought Gang Orca. Hey kid, what is your name? Gang Orca asked. My name is Rorinoa Izuku. You may know me by my hero named Zoro or Pirate Hunter Zoro, said Izuku. Did you not have green hair? Gang Orca asked. Yes, I did once have green hair, but because of the torture the love did to me, I also got this scar over my eye, said Izuku. After he said that, he pointed to the scar that comes from the right side of his head and covered his already cut left eye. Hey kid, how did you get the cut over your eye that is vertical? Gang Orca asked. Well, I got it from Stain. But less talking, let's fight, said Izuku. After he was done saying that, he spun around and sent a kick to the head of Gang Orca. But before the kick was able to land on Orca's head, Orca had blocked it with his right arm. However, Gang Orca was sent back a little bit. Shit, this kid hits hard. What is that black substance around his legs and arms? Thought Gang Orca. Hey kid, what is that black substance around your arms and legs? Gang Orca asked. Him, you mean my armament haki. It is very useful, especially if I'm fighting someone who can change their body like an element. So let's fight, not talk. After Izuku said that, he jumped back so he could activate his quirk. Once he was far enough, he deactivated the bracelets of his hero costume. Let's fight for real now, Orca, said Izuku, and he shot off at about 5 times as faster than without his quirk activated, and he deactivated his armament haki. Shit, this kid is a shit ton faster than before. What did he do? Thought Gang Orca. After he was done thinking that, he had to block an attack from Izuku, which sent him sliding back about 10 feet. Hey kid, what did you do to be faster? Gang Orca asked. I deactivated my quirk canceling cuffs. So I have my quirk activated now, Orca. So let's fight for real now, said Izuku, 5 minutes later. The exam is over now, said the announcer. Well, it seems like our fight is over now, Zoro, said Orca. Yes, I does seem so, Orca, but you are not a bad fighter. I would like to fight you again, said Izuku. After he said that, he put his hand out for a fist bump. Once Izuku's fist was fully out, Gang Orca did the same thing, 20 minutes later. I thought that this would be different than what it is, thought Izuku. Once Izuku gathered back with Class 1A. Hey, did any of you fail the exam? Asked Izuku. After Izuku asked that, everyone said no, they did not fail the exam except for Shoto and Kasimi, because they had not got there yet. Once the two got to where 1A was. Hey, did you two pass? Izuku asked them. I know that I passed, but I think that Ice Hot failed, said Kasimi. Hey Ice Hot, did you pass or fail? Asked Izuku. Yes, I did. I was not going to obey what you said to me, said Shoto. That's not very surprising that he did not follow what I said to him, thought Izuku. Okay, what are they going to do with you, since I know that they want more heroes out there, said Izuku. I do not know right now, said Shoto. Hey Iken, I have a question for you, said Kasimi. What is your question you have for me, Kasimi? Asked Izuku. Why have you not moved into the UA dorms yet? Asked Kasimi. Well, I have not been asked to move to the UA dorms yet, but I think that I will be asked to move there soon. However, I know that I will ask for a room where I can make my support tools, said Izuku. Okay, I can help you move in, Iken, when you move in, said Kasimi. Okay, that sounds good with me, but I'm going to ask for a door that will let my room be connected to Snowflake's room, said Izuku. 2 days after the provisional hero license exam, at Striking Steelworks, there was knocking at the front door of the blacksmithing area. I'm coming, yelled Izuku. 5 minutes later, Izuku opened the door to the blacksmithing area with a towel in his left hand. How may I help you this early in the morning? Because I do not usually open the shop for about an hour or so, said Izuku. Hello there, Rorinoa-san. Can we come in, and we are not a customer, said one of the people who knocked on the door. After that was said, Izuku took a better look at who was in front of him. Oh hey rat, skeleton, and hobo, come in, but may I know how I can help you? 3? Asked Izuku. After he said that, he let everyone in and lead them to the house part. This is a beautiful place, Nezu said from the shoulder of Izuku. Yes, it is. I have been taking care of this place for practically my whole life, said Izuku. Do you want something to eat or drink? Asked Izuku. We are just fine, Rorinoa-san, said Nezu. Okay, just let me know if you want something to eat or drink, said Izuku. After Izuku said that he and the group he was with had got to Izuku's house. Enter, said Izuku. Okay, we will, Roronoa-san, said Nezu. After he said that he, All Might, and Aizawa had entered the house. I will be back with you, just give me a few minutes and I will be back. I just need to finish breakfast for Eri and Nejire, said Izuku. After he said that he entered the kitchen to finish breakfast. 5 minutes later. Snowflake and Airhead get up and come and have breakfast. Yelled out Izuku. After he yelled that he brought out a tray with some snacks, some tea, and some coffee. If you want to have some tea, take some or some coffee. There are also some snacks there as well, said Izuku while putting down the tray. Which one is the coffee? Asked Aizawa. The one on the right is coffee. But it is some strong-ass coffee, said Izuku. After he said that, Aizawa poured a cup of coffee. Thank you, problem child, said Aizawa. May I know why you three are here? I have an idea why you three are here, but I would like to know why, said Izuku. Well, we are here because you are the only UA student that does not live on campus. So we would like you to move on to campus, said Nezu. Okay, I will move on campus. But I have some things that will need to be fulfilled, said Izuku. May we know what the things that need to be fulfilled, Roronoa-san? Asked Aizawa. Well, you can call me Izuku. The things that need to be fulfilled are that I want my room and Eri's room joined together. The other one is that I want to have somewhere I can work on the support items that I do and any requests that I get from any customers, said Izuku. That may take some time, but that should be doable, said Nezu. Okay, I would like to have one support lab for myself, said Izuku. That one is doable because there is one support lab that is not being used right now, said Nezu. Okay, I will move in during the weekend, so I will not get behind in class, said Izuku. That is fine, Izuku-san. We will be leaving now, said Nezu, after he said that he and Aizawa got up to leave. I will be stay for a little bit longer, Nezu, said All Might. Okay, Toshinori, that is just fine with me. But do you need a ride back to UA? Asked Nezu. I do not because I drove myself here, said All Might. Okay, just let someone know if you need a ride back to UA, said Nezu. Before we leave we need to see how many things you have and we'll be bringing to UA with you, said Aizawa. Okay, that is just fine with me. Let me show you where the things that I will be bringing with me, said Izuku. Wait, Izuku-san, can you stay here, so you can talk, said All Might. Okay, I will do that, All Might. Hey Airhead or Snowflake, can one of you two show them to the room with all of my tech? Asked Izuku. Okay daddy, I will do that, said Eri. Okay Snowflake, thank you for doing that for me, said Izuku. After he said that Eri had got up and led Nezu and Aizawa to where Izuku had all of his tech. So many I know what you want to talk about with me, asked Izuku. I want to know how much of you about OFA and AFO, said All Might. More than you because I'm the descendant of someone who knew the first few holders of it and I'm the adopted son of a friend of the 7th user. So I know more than almost anyone still alive except for AFO, said Izuku. So what do you want to know? Asked Izuku. I want to know how to train young Tagata to use OFA, said All Might. I have already said how to use OFA. But the Tintin copycat did not want to use how I said to use it, said Izuku. You did not say how to, said All Might. Now you remember what I said that day, All Might, said Izuku. Yes, I do now remember what you said that day, young Roronoa, said All Might. So did you and Tintin do what I said how to train to use OFA? Or did you let him get trained by Gran Torino so he could train him? Asked Izuku. After Izuku asked that, All Might flinched at the second question. I was not able to train him, so I sent him to Gran Torino, said All Might. Like I thought you were a good hero but not a good teacher. I will meet you and him after the work studies. But I will give you a training schedule for Tintin, said Izuku. After he said that, he got up and grabbed a notebook and wrote down a schedule for Mirio. Here you go, as long as he follows that schedule he should go up from I think 5% or maybe about 15%, said Izuku. Thank you for this, Roronoa, said All Might. 20 minutes later. Hey Zuzu, who are you going to be doing the work studies? Asked Nejire. I do not know, but I was going to do it with Rumi. But she is doing something right now, so I do not know. How about you, Airhead? Asked Izuku. Well, I'm going to be doing it with Raikyu. I know that me, Tamaki, and Tintin are going to meet Class 1A tomorrow and talk about the upcoming work studies, said Nejire. Let me guess, Tintin will want to fight me, but will use the excessive fighting Class 1A, said Izuku. Yep, that is true, he will want to fight you. But he will also want to test all of 1A as well, said Nejire. Okay, that sounds good, but are you going to be suggesting anyone from 1A to Raikyu? Asked Izuku. I will probably do that, Zuzu. But I will wait until after Mirio fights 1A, said Nejire. Okay, that sounds good, I have a suggestion for people you should watch for, said Izuku. How are they, Zuzu? Asked Nejire. There is Kasimi Bakugo, Ochako Uraraka, and Suyu Asui. But I would not suggest Kasimi for now because she has some anger issues right now, said Izuku. I will be looking at Thoughts 3, said Nejire, the next day at Class 1A. The same thing happens as canon up to the start of the fight. Doing just go without a plan 1A. You all may not know what Tintin's quirk is, but I know what his quirk is, said Izuku. How do you know what Tintin's quirk is, Iken? Asked Kasimi. One is because I'm a friend of one of the big three. The other reason is because I have fought him before, said Izuku. What is his quirk, Izuku-san? Asked Momo. Well, his quirk is. But before Izuku could say what Mirio's quirk was, Mirio sunk into the floor, and a little after he sunk into the floor he shot out of the floor near the back of Class 1A and was about to attack. But before he could land the attack, Izuku had appeared in front of Mirio and sent an attack at him. Do you think that I would not be ready to fight you, Tintin? You do not fight like All Might. But you have nearly exactly the same fighting style as him. I have fought All Might and many more people with enhancer quirks, said Izuku. After he said that he sent a punch into the gut of Mirio before he caused use his and was sent flying back. How the hell is he faster than me? He can land a hit on me before I was able to use my quirk. So he must have his quirk activated right now. So that means that he is going to be a big threat, thought Mirio. So you are ready to defend and attack fast, especially because you have your quirk activated, said Mirio. You may be right that I have my quirk activated, but I'm only using about 5% or 10% of my stored up power. So let's see if you can use it better, said Izuku. What the fuck, how the hell is he so fast? Even thought he is only using 5% to 10% of his quirk's power. He is a bigger threat than I thought he was going to be. I will need to use OFA just to outpace him or outpower him. But I only know how to use about 5% of OFA. That will not stop me from beating the person who took my girlfriend from me, thought Mirio, after he was done thinking that he activated OFA at his max output. Once Mirio had OFA activated, there was light yellow colored lighting surrounding him. Everyone get ready, he will be a harder Tintin to catch than what he was, said Izuku, after he said that he blurred out of sight and appeared in front of Mirio. But Mirio was able to barely dodge out of the way. However, the wall was not safe where the punch landed. There was a massive crater and spider webbing spreading out, and where his fist landed his arm went through it and there was some air pressure let out. Looks like you missed me, underclass men, said Mirio. After he was done saying that, he sent a punch to the side of Izuku. But before the punch could land, Izuku used his left hand and arm to block the punch from Mirio. Looks like you missed, upper class men, mockingly, said Izuku, after he said that he used his hand that was through the wall and sent a punch that landed in the ribs of Mirio after going through that wall. But the punch was not the only thing that hit Mirio. There were also the parts of the wall Izuku's fist went through and hit Mirio. Once Izuku's fist landed in the ribs of Mirio, he was sent flying and was also hit by the parts of the wall. 5 minutes later. Did I kill him? Asked Izuku. I will check on him, problem child, said Aizawa, after he said that he went over to Mirio and checked up on him. You did not kill him, problem child. He's just knocked him out. But he will need to go to recover girl's room, said Aizawa. After Aizawa said that 2 med bots came out with a stretcher. Once they got to Mirio, they picked him up and took him to recover girl's room. We should have not let you do this, problem child, said Aizawa. Well, you did not say that I was not supposed to join, even though you know that I have maybe about 10 times as much experience as any third-year hero student or as much experience as the top 15 heroes. If not more experience, said Izuku. 3 days later. The day before work studies start. Hey Zuzu, did you get any offer for work study? Asked Nejire. Yes I did. I got one from everyone that the big 3 are with. But I will most likely go to Ryukyu, said Izuku. Why are you choosing to go to Ryukyu instead of Fat Gum or Senior Night Eye? Asked Nejire. Well, Fat Gum is a good fighter, but I do not need too much practice in the field he specializes in. Then there is Night Eye. He may have experience teaching someone with enhanced strength. But I do not need any help dealing with my enhanced strength. I also think that he just wants me to become a second All Might, said Izuku. What do you mean by that? Asked Nejire. Well, you know that All Might did was try to outpower his appointment. I have a style that I use, and Night Eye will most likely want me to stop using my style of fighting and just use my straight strength. So I will go to Ryukyu because I need more practice in what she does the most, said Izuku. Yay, Zuzu will be with me, Kirby and Froggy. That is if they will accept it, said Nejire. So did you let Ryukyu know about Kirby, Froggy, and Kasimi, said Izuku. Yep I did, but I let her know that she should wait for her to get better at controlling her anger issues, said Nejire, the next day. Hey Airhead and Snowflake, get and let's have breakfast. After he said that, he grabbed his phone and sent a text to Aizawa. The text said, hey, this is Izuku and I'm wondering if you and Mike can take care of Eri during the work studies. 10 minutes later. Okay, me and Mike can do that, problem child. But how did you get my phone number? Asked Aizawa. Thank you for that. The way I got your number was by hacking into the servers of UA and got everything that I would need. I also made a folder in Demon Rat's computer which is called Demon Rat. I also know that he is in this conversion right now, said Izuku. Well, so you were the one who hacked into UA thoughts months ago. But may I know what the code to the folder is? Asked Nezu. What did I call you, Demon Rat? The folder has the same scale of sincerity as I have on all my tech. That would take someone like you a while to just go through the first wall of protection. Then there are some upgrades that you should do, said Izuku. Okay, I will look at them, said Nezu. After Nezu sent that, Izuku put down his phone and noticed that Nejire and Eri were just getting to the table. Okay, now that you are here, let's eat. Oh Snowflake, after you're done eating you will need to get some clothes. So you can stay with Hobo and Cockadeel for the time that I'm doing my work study, said Izuku. Okay daddy, but can we stay here? Asked Eri. I will see if they want to come here and stay here for my work studies. But that will have to wait until we are done eating. I would like you to get some clothes just in case they do not want to stay here, said Izuku. Okay daddy, said Eri, after she said that they all started to eat. 15 minutes later. Go get some clothing just in case you need to where they live, and I will send Hobo a text to see if they want to come here for the time of the work studies, said Izuku. After he said that, he grabbed his phone and sent him another text. Hey Hobo. Snowflake wants to know if the two of you want to come and stay here for the time of the work studies, said Izuku. We could do that, but I think that UA would be safer, so I think that we should stay at UA, said Aizawa. Okay, I will let her know that, Hobo, said Izuku. 5 minutes later. Okay Snowflake, you will need to stay at UA. The reason he said that is because he thinks that Uwa would be the safest. But you can take Rose with you, said Izuku. Okay daddy, I have a week's worth of clothing, said Eri. Okay, let's get going to Uwa, said Izuku, after he said that he, Nejire, and Eri got up and headed to Izuku's bite. But Izuku took the bag that Eri had her clothes in. Once they go to the bite. Hey Airhead, can you put this bag in the sidecar with Snowflake? Asked Izuku. Yes, I can do that, Zuzu, said Nejire. Come on Snowflake, hurry up and get here with Rose, yelled out Izuku. Okay daddy, I'm coming, said Eri. 5 minutes later Eri got in the sight of Izuku and Nejire. But Eri had Rose helping her bring one of the bags of dog food. Once Izuku notes that she had a bag of dog food with her, he went to grab it. Hey Snowflake, why do you have a bag of dog food with you? Asked Izuku. I wanted to bring Rose some food with me, said Eri. I can understand that. But they should have food at UA, so this is not needed, said Izuku. I know daddy, but I wanted to bring Rose the food she likes, said Eri. Okay, we can take the bag of food Snowflake, said Izuku, after he said that he, Eri, and Rose went to the bite. Once the three got there, Eri and Rose got in the sidecar and Izuku put the dog food in the sidecar as well. Okay, is everyone ready to go? Asked Izuku. After Izuku asked that, everyone said that they were ready to go. 30 minutes later at the parking lot of UA. Okay, we are here. Hey Airhead, when are we going to be leaving for the work studies? Asked Izuku.
We will be leaving once we get our hero costumes and get away there, said Nejire.
Okay, we will drop off Snowflake and Rose off. Then we will go get our hero costume, said Izuku. That sounds good with me. I will take the bag with Snowflake's clothing and some of Rose's toys. You can take the bag of dog food. Okay, that sounds good. But can you go to the sidecar and you will see a bag in there and I have some bones, said Izuku.
Okay, I will do that, Zuzu, said Nejire, after she said that she grabbed the bag with Eri's clothes and toys for Rose. Then she looked for the bag of bones for Rose. 5 minutes later Nejire found the bag of bones. Okay, I have found the bag, said Nejire.
Okay, let's get going, said Izuku. 20 minutes later. See you later, and you may or may not be staying with Hobo and Cockatiel just in case we need to stay at the agency. But if we do not, we will pick you up and then head home, said Izuku. Okay daddy, that sounds good with me, said Eri, after she said that she gave Izuku then Nejire a hug. After she did that, she entered her classroom. Now we just need to give Snowflake's things to Hobo just in case we need to stay at the agency, said Izuku. Okay Zuzu, that sounds good with me, but I really need to get my hero costume, said Nejire. Okay, you can do that. Just give me Snowflake's things and you can leave to get your hero costume, said Izuku. Okay Zuzu, I will do that, said Nejire, after she said that she gave Izuku the bag with Eri's things. Once she did that, she left to get her hero costume. Hey Airhead, let's meet back up at my bike, then we can leave, said Izuku. Okay, that sounds good with me, said Nejire. 10 minutes later, at the door of 1A. Hey Hobo, here are Snowflake's things, said Izuku. Okay, you can put them over in the corner. But may I know why you want me to look after Eri for the work studies? Asked Aizawa. Well, I do not know if we are going to be staying at the agency we choose for work studies, said Izuku. Okay, that sounds fine. Since Problem Child talked about work studies, I want the ones who choose an agency to do work studies with to get up and grab the case with your hero costume. Once you have it, you can leave and head the bus that will take you to the agency, said Aizawa, after he said that the three people who were sitting down to get up and grab the case with their hero costume in. Oh, I just want to let Kirby and Froggy too follow me, because I will be giving you two a ride there, but we will be joined by Nejire, said Izuku, after he said that he grabbed his case and waited at the door. 5 minutes later. Okay, now that you two have your hero costume, follow me, said Izuku. 10 minutes later. Okay, we are at my bike, we just need to wait for Airhead to get here, said Izuku. Hey Izuku, where are we going to sit and put the case with our hero costume? Asked Asui. Let me just do this, said Izuku, after he said that he pressed a button on the hands. Once the button was pressed, the sidecar expanded. You can put your case in there. After Izuku said that, he pointed to slots that were in the shape of the case. Once he did that, he also put his case in one of the 4 holders. Few minutes later, there was a blue shape coming towards them. That is Airhead, said Izuku. Sorry that I'm late, said Nejire. You're just fine, you are not that late. Pulse, we have not been here long anyways, said Izuku. Okay, is everyone ready to go? Asked Izuku. After he asked that, everyone said yes. Okay, let's get going, said Izuku. After Izuku said that, he turned his bike on and then put it in gear. 1 hour later, they got to the Ryukyu agency. It looks just like Canon. Okay, you can hop off here if you want to, said Izuku at the front door. After Izuku said that, Ochako and Asui got off Izuku's bike. Where do we need to go, Izuku? Asked Ochako. Well, I can hop off and show you where you need to go, said Nejire. Okay, do that and I will park, then I will meet up with you 3, said Izuku, after he said that Nejire got off his bike to show Ochako and Asui. Okay, I will do so, Zuzu, said Nejire. Don't you need someone to show you where to go, Izuku? Asked Asui. No, I do not, because I have already been here before, so I will be just fine, Froggy, said Izuku. After he said that, he drove off to look for a parking spot. 20 minutes later, in the main room of Ryukyu agency. So you have not changed this room since last time, Ryukyu? Izuku said as he entered the main room of Ryukyu agency. Oh hey there Izu, how are you going? And I haven't really changed the room since you came last with Snowflake. But how are you doing, Izu? May I know where Snowflake is? Asked Ryukyu. I'm doing just fine, Dragon. To let you know, I left Snowflake with Hobo at UA. Because I do not know what we are going to be doing and I do not think that we will also think that we will have enough time to spend time with her. But let's talk about what we are going to do during the work studies, said Izuku. Okay, we can do that. Izu, let's all sit down. So we can talk sitting down because this will take some time, said Ryukyu. After she said that, she sat down and everyone else did the same. But Izuku went to make something to have during the talk. I'm going to go and make something that we can have during this talk, said Izuku. 10 minutes later. Izuku had a tray with some snacks and drinks. Once he was in the main room, he set the tray on the table. Okay, we can talk about what we are going to be doing during the work studies, said Izuku. After he said that, he found somewhere to sit down. Okay, now that we are all ready to go, we will be talking about what is going to happen during the work study. After Ryukyu said that, she said what was going to happen during the work study. She told them that they would be doing mainly just putrolling. That is what is going to be happening during the work study. But if any agency asks for help, we are going to help them. 3 days later. All they had been doing for the last 3 days was doing some putrolling and had taken out some villains. In the main room of Ryukyu agency. Okay, I will let you all know that about 1 day ago Mirio had run into someone who was suspected to be a part of the Yakuza, said Ryukyu. May I know if Mirio dealt with him? Asked Ochako. No, he did not. Mirio thought that he was not supposed to capture him, said Ryukyu. Let me guess, they think that Shi Hasakai can still make quirk erasing bullets and still have a little girl, said Izuku. Yes, that is try. But may I know how do you know that, Izuku? Asked Ryukyu. Well, the person that Tintin ran into is the leader of the Shi Hisakai Kaichisaki. But you may know him better as Overhaul. I have fought him before. However, before I could finish him off, he used his quirk to get away, said Izuku. How do you know all of this information, Zuzu? Asked Nejire. Well, one, I have been keeping track on the Shi Hasakai. Another reason is that I have hacked into the servers of Fat Gums and Night Eye's agency. So I have all the information that Night Eye had on him. I also hacked Fat Gums' agency to see if they had any information on the Shi Hasakai. But they did not have much. However, they had information on some interesting things, said Izuku. So may we know what you know and what you got from them, Izu? Asked Ryukyu. Well, the information that I had before I got the information from Fat Gum and Night Eye. That they had once had someone how they used to make the quirk erasing bullets by using her blood. I also know that they were rumored to have some connections with the LOV. That is all that I had before I took the information from them. Before I got that information they had. After I got their information, I know that the rumors about them having contractions with the love is true. But that only became true about 2 or so weeks ago. I know that they cannot make the quirk erasing bullets anymore. I also know that they started to make something known as trigger. But the trigger that they are making right now is not as good as some of the trigger that I have come across. That is all that I know about the Shi Hasakai, said Izuku. May we know when you have come across trigger? Asked Ryukyu. Well, Dragon, I have been a part of many different groups when I was a vigilante. The trigger that I had came across the group I was with. We destroyed it and how to make it. If I'm right about this trigger, it is still in the testing. I know that the trigger I have come across will strengthen someone's quirk. The different kinds of triggers have different amounts of strength. There has been one that will make someone's quirk 2 times stronger, and there is one that will make their quirk 100 times stronger. That is the strongest that I remember coming across. But I know that I was forced to use one that enhanced my quirk an unknown amount of times and made me go out of control. After that, I know that I have what you could say a demon form. I do not have much control over it, said Izuku. May we know what happened to that kind of trigger, and do you know if you have a picture of your demon form? Asked Nejire. Well, during my uncontrolled form I destroyed everything in a mile in all directions. I think that I have a picture that was sent to me by one of my old teammates. Let me check my phone for it, said Izuku. After he said that, he grabbed his phone and started to look through his pictures. 20 minutes of talking between everyone except for Izuku. Hey Zuzu, have found the picture yet? Asked Nejire. Yes, I have, Airhead, said Izuku. Who wants to see the picture? Asked Izuku. After he asked that, everyone said that they wanted to see it. Okay, this is how I look in that state. But I will also let you know that during that time I had a different sword which was made by a former comrade. After Izuku said that, he turned around his phone and showed everyone the picture of his demon form. It is Kenpachi's Bankai with the sword as well. Wow, Zuzu, that is so cool. But where is that massive axe? Asked Nejire. Well, that sword was put away. But I will let you know that is not how it really looks like. That is what could be called a Zanpato, and the form is called Bankai. There are 3 stages of a Zanpakuto: the sealed, Shikai and Bankai, said Izuku. Can we see your Zanpakuto, Izu? Asked Ryukyu. It might take some time to form it, but I should be able to show you it. After Izuku said that, he got up and sat down on the floor and started to meditate. 1.5 hours later, there was an immense amount of pressure that came out of nowhere. Sorry about this, but I do not have any control over the energy that I have and without my eye patch on. So all of my power will be on you all. My eye patch suppresses about 60 to 70% of my Ryatsu. However, I can only control about 5 to 10% of it, but that will take some time to do so. This is what my Zanpakuto looks like. It is Kenpachi's Zanpakuto. After everyone says it, he lets his Zanpakuto return into his body. Once his Zanpakuto had returned his body, the pressure had disappeared. 2 days later, the day of the meeting for the prep of the Shi Hasakai raid. It went the same as canon for the first 10 minutes. For fuck's sake, can we all just take about this fucking raid, not acting like fucking 2 years olds? Yelled at Izuku while releasing some Conqueror's Haki. After Izuku had yelled that, everyone had shut up and started at Izuku in a bit of shock and fear. 10 minutes had passed and no one had said anything. Okay, since no one is speaking, I will let you all know what this meeting is about. About 3 days ago Tintin had run into the leader of the Shi Hasakai overhaul. But I know that Night Eye does not have as much information as he thinks he does, said Izuku. What do you mean boy? Said Night Eye. I hacked into your and Fat Gum servers to get all of the information that you all had. I already knew what you two did and some, but I did get some of the information confirmed. Izuku said that while using his right arm's tech, this is all the information that I have on the Shi Hasakai. I will also say what is on every page, said Izuku. After he said that he said the same thing was in the last chapter. So now that all of you know what this meeting is about we can continue talking about. After Izuku said that the meeting went the same as canon. 1 hour later the meeting had finished. In the room where Aizawa talked to Izuku in canon. Hey problem child, may I know how you had all of that information? Asked Aizawa. Well, I have run into Overhaul before, so I had kept an eye on him and what he was doing, so I know that he was going to slop up sooner or later. I was just waiting for Night Eye or a different hero to run into him, said Izuku. 4 days later, the night before the Shi Hasakai raid. Everyone in Class 1A that is going to be a part of the Shi Hasakai raid. Okay, we will need to get our hero costume tomorrow then leave. We will also need to be ready for anything to happen. Get all of the sleep you can get and I will make breakfast so there will be enough food which will be good for you all, said Izuku. After he said that he headed to his room. But on his way to his room he sent a text to Nejire. Hey Airhead, you can let Tintin and Wallflower that you all can come to 1-8's dorms tomorrow for breakfast. Okay, I will let them know about your offer but I will be coming there tomorrow. The text that Nejire said to Izuku. The next day at 7 in the morning in Class 1-8's dorm's kitchen. This should be plenty of food for me, Froggy, Kirby, Rocky, Tintin, Airhead, and Wallflower. I probably also make some food for Hobo, thought Izuku. I probably should also make some breakfast for the rest of 1A. So they do not take any of the food that I have made for the 7 of us that is in the Shi Hasakai. After Izuku was done thinking that he started to cook more food for 1A 20 minutes later. Food is done so come and get some food. Yelled out Izuku. After he had yelled that out there was knocking on the door. But before Izuku could go and open it the door had been opened then the people had come into the make room. Hey Zuzu, is the food done yet? Asked Nejire. Yes the food is done Airhead. Can you go get Hobo from between the couches so he can eat as well? Asked Izuku. Okay I will do so Zuzu, but may I know what you made for breakfast? Asked Nejire. Well I made pancakes, chocolate chip pancakes, and some chocolate pancakes with chocolate chips. There is also some coffee, chocolate milk, and some orange juice, said Izuku. After Izuku said that Nejire started to use her quirk to get Aizawa quicker. Yet I love your pancakes, said Nejire. 5 minutes later everyone had come down to eat breakfast. Let's eat Zuzu, said Nejire. Calm down Airhead, I still need to get everyone the kinds of pancakes they want and what they want to drink. Few minutes later everyone had the food and drink they wanted. Okay now that we all have some food and drinks let's eat. Then the ones of us that have work studies can go and get ready for what is happening later, said Izuku. Yay we can eat now, yelled out Nejire. After she yelled, everyone started to eat the pancakes Izuku had made. 20 minutes later. Hey, can one of you do the dishes because me, Airhead, Froggy, Kirby, Wallflower, Hobo, and Tintin are going to need to be leaving soon, said Izuku. I will do the dishes Izuku-san, said Momo. Okay I put water in the pans that I used to make the pancake mix already, said Izuku. After he said that the 7 that are going to be a part of the Shi Hasakai started to leave. 20 minutes later at the main interest of UAOK does everyone have what they need for this? Asked Izuku. Yes we have everything we need, they all said at once. Okay, let's get going to the meeting place, said Aizawa, after he said that they all left and headed to the Shi Hasakai raid meeting place. 30 minutes later. Go meet up with the person that you are doing your work studies with, said Aizawa. After he said that they all split up and headed to the person they are doing work studies. With Izuku's group on their way to where Ryukyu was. Hey Zuzu, when are you going to get a new sword? So you can use the full amount of your sword style, asked Nejire. Well I have been looking for another sword. But I have not found another sword to replace the one that I'm missing. I have found other swords but they have not been strong enough for me to use. I have also tried to use one that I have made and they are not strong enough as well. But I also have heard Overhaul has partnered up with someone who has been rumored to be alive for the last I think about 148 or more years, said Izuku. What do you mean by rumored to be alive for about 148 or more years? Asked Ochako. Well this person that I'm talking about was alive when the quirk started to appear. Either this is that person or one of his descendants that is alive right now. His name was Gecko Moria, said Izuku. Hey Zuzu, do you know what this person looks like? Asked Nejire. Well he is tall as hell I think he is around 22 feet 8.5. His skin color is white, his hair color is red, he also has 2 horns on his head, and his body shape is long and as if he had swallowed a big ball, said Izuku. If that is not a good description of Gecko Moria you can search up how he looks and he looks like he does at Thriller Park. Hey Izuku do you know what his quirk is? Asked Sue. Well his quirk is shadows, said Izuku. What do you mean that his quirk is shadows Izuku? Asked Ochako. Well with his quirk he can manifest and control shadows. Then he can use the shadows he had as physical entities. Oh he also can use the shadows of other people in dead bodies he has. Think of it like zombies, said Izuku. His quirk is just his devil fruit. 30 minutes later. At the entrance of Shi Hasakai hideout. Hey Ryukyu, do you think that it will be fine if I go with the main group of the attack force? Asked Izuku. Yes you can, Zoro. Just be careful, said Ryukyu. I will be careful during the raid, Ryukyu, said Izuku. After he said that he was about to leave. But before he could leave there was someone who got in his way. "May I know what you need, airhead?" asked Izuku. "I want you to be careful in the front lines of the raid and I wanted to give you something," said Nejire. "What is this that you want to give me and I will be careful?" said Izuku. After he asked that, Nejire started to float up. Then went over to his face and gave him a kiss on his lips. 10 seconds later. Once they stopped kissing their forehead were touching. "That is what I wanted to give you and if you come back unharmed I may give you a gift, Suzu," said Nejire. After she said that they split and headed in different directions, in the distance with Mirio. "Why does she like him more than she likes me? I'm the same age as her. I may be a few months older than her. He is about 2 years younger than she is. So why is she with him, not me? I have more money than him and I'm wanted by my parents compared to him. I also have a better quirk than he does. Both of them are better than his quirk. All his quirk does is give him some strength. He may be able to use some swords. I probably could do the same thing if I felt like it." 5 minutes had passed and Mirio was having a mental rant. "Hey Tintin, get ready, we are about to start the raid, so you can have your mental crisis later," said Izuku as he slammed one of his hands on the back of Mirio. "Hey Zoro, are you not supposed to be with Ryukyu of the raid?" Fat Gum asked. "Well I should but she let me come with you, so I could help when it needed, Fat Gum," said Izuku. "Okay, that sounds good with me. I have a question for you. Do you mind me asking them?" Fat Gum asked. "Go ahead and ask your question that you have, Gum," said Izuku. "Why do you have 3 sword sheaths and only 2 swords?" Fat Gum asked. Well, I use 3 swords and I have lost my 3rd one and I have not found one that will last and is strong enough for me to use," said Izuku. "Okay, that sounds like it would be neat to see done. But may I know where you have the 3rd sword?" Fat Gum asked. "I hold the 3rd sword in my mouth," said Izuku. After he said that, Fat Gum, Kirishima, Mirio, and Tamaki started to imagine who Izuku would look like with his 3 swords getting led. But before they could say anything, one of the cops there let them know that the raid was about to start. Once the officer said that they got ready for the start of the raid. 5 minutes later, the start of the raid. "Let's get ready," said Izuku. After he said that, the cops opened the door of the gate. The start of the raid happened the same as canon up to where Kirishima and Fat Gum were split up. A few more minutes passed, then a massive person appeared in front of them. "Well, look at what we have here. Some so-called heroes that are trying to stop us," said the massive person. "Well, look at what we have here, someone who is meant to be dead," said Izuku. "What do you mean, Zoro?" asked Eraser. Well, this person is over 100 years old and his name is Gekko Moria. He was someone who used to work for someone called All for One, said Izuku. "Do you know what his quirk is and what he is doing working with Overhaul?" asked Rocklock. Yes, I do know what his quirk is and why he is working with is most likely because the Shi Hasaikai has started to work with the League of Villains. The Love True leader was AFO before he got captured. His quirk is shadow manipulation. I will face him and you all can go on and deal with Overhaul." After Izuku said that, he moved to attack Gekko Moria and the others left to go after Overhaul. After they left. "Well, looks like you know more than I would think you would about me. But I will not be the one who will be fighting you." After he said that, he capered Izuku and took his shadow. Then used it to power activate one of his corpus. "I would like to introduce you to one of my oldest and favorite corpus that I have. I would like you to meet Ryama," said Gekko Moria. The fight between Izuku and Ryama went the same as the one between Zoro and Ryama. "Well, looks like you are my opponent, now old ass," said Izuku. "It does look like I will have to fight you myself. That one was the strongest one that I had," said Moria. After he said that, he grabbed his scissor swords. "You remind me of someone that I had fought before," said Moria. Well, your memory must be going, because if you did remember why I remind you of someone. Plus you would want to kill me as well. But I will let you know why I remind you of someone. I have the same fighting style as Roronoa Zoro and I'm a descendant of him. But if you do not remember how he was a partner of Luffy, you may remember him better as Monkey D. Luffy, said Izuku. After he said that, he ran towards Moria. With Moria, after Izuku said what he did, he was shocked to hear what was just said. Before Moria could fully realize what was said, Izuku had landed an attack across his body which was releasing a good amount of blood. After the attack landed, Moria was brought back to reality. But before he could put up a defense, Izuku went for another attack. A few minutes had passed of Izuku landing attacks on Moria and Moria was trying to block and then counterattack. I need to finish this fight and then go help fight Overhaul. After he was done thinking that, he was getting ready to land the final blow. Purgatory Onigiri. The same thing happens when Zoro used Purgatory Onigiri Agent's Killer. This fight is done now. After Izuku said that, he ran off to where he could sense everyone else was with his Conqueror's Haki. The fight went the same as in canon. "What is happening here right now?" asked Izuku. "Right now we are trying to fight Overhaul, but we cannot defeat him yet," said Night Eye. Looks like Tintin will get his right arm broken or ripped off," thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that, he shot off to get Miro out of the way of a spike that Overhaul made. "Shit, I will not make it in time, and why the hell is Tintin not using one of his quirks? Don't tell me that he has quirk exhaustion," thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that, the spike Overhaul sent at Mirio had landed on the right side of his body and ripped his right arm off. "Shit, I need to get him out of here," thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that, he used Shisui cover and armament Haki and cut cleanly through the spike. "Dumb ass, get your fucking student out of here before he bleeds out," yelled out Izuku at Night Eye. After he said that, Izuku picked up Mirio and tossed it at Night Eye. While Miro was flying through the air, Izuku was cutting any spikes that Overhaul sent at the airborne Mirio. "You are fighting me now, fucker," yelled out Izuku. After he had yelled that out, he shot off with 2 of his swords in hand. Once Izuku had got to where Overhaul was, Izuku sent an attack at the chest of Overhaul. But before the attack that Izuku sent at Overhaul could land, Overhaul barely moved out of the way of the attack. But that attack still landed on Overhaul, which nearly cut the right hand off of Overhaul. "You fucking baster," yelled out Overhaul in anger and pain. "Haha, so you do remember me, Kai," said Izuku with a slightly crazy grin. After he said that, he covered his 2 swords in armament haki. Izuku and Overhaul had been fighting for a few minutes. "Well shit, I'm going to need to activate my quirk." After Izuku was done thinking that, Izuku jumped back so he could activate his quirk. Once Izuku had activated his quirk, the bracelets of his hero costume had stopped glowing. "Let's start this fight for real," said Izuku. After Izuku said that, he shot off with more speed. 10 minutes had passed. The ceiling had caved in. It was how Ryukyu, Su, Ochoko, and Nejire got there in canon. Looks like I need to stop holding back now, by not using my swords. The fight went the same as canon, but Eri was not there on the back of Izuku. Fuck, my body is in a shit ton of pain. I will need to go to the hospital just in case if there is anything wrong that my quirk did not heal, thought Izuku. After Izuku was done thinking that, he went to one of the ambulances. "Hey, I think that I should go with you just in case my body still needs to heal," said Izuku to a paramedic. "Okay, you can hop in the ambulance. Then we will do a checkup on you, and if we can see anything we will take you to the hospital," said the paramedic. "Okay, I will do that, miss," said Izuku. After he said that, he hopped into the ambulance. At the hospital. In the mating room. "I wonder when I will see Airhead," thought Izuku. 5 minutes later. "Hey Zuzu, have you heard what happened to Night Eye and Mirio?" asked Nejire. "No, I have not. What happened to them? But I have an idea on what happened to Tintin," asked Izuku. "Night Eye is going to die because there is nothing that can save him. He got a good size through his gut. With Mirio, he lost his right arm and the top part of his right lung has been pierced as well. So he might lose his right lung as well. So he will need to stop being a hero," said Nejire. After she said that, she started to cry a little. Once Izuku noticed that Nejire was crying, he went over to her and wrapped her in his arms. "Hey, calm down, I'm here for you, Koala. You can let it all out and I'm here. Let me know when you want to go and see Mirio or Night Eye," said Izuku. After he said that, he had picked up Nejire and waked over to a seat, then sat down. 5 minutes later. "Hey problem child, I think that you two should go and see Mirio and Night Eye," said Aizawa. "We will go and see them soon," said Izuku with his chin on the top of Nejire's head. "So Nejire is not taking this that well," said Aizawa. "That is right, she passed out about a minute or so ago. I'm going to wake her up soon, Aizawa," said Izuku. After he said that, Aizawa left and Izuku tried to wake up Nejire. "Hey Koala, I think that we should go and see Mirio and Night Eye," said Izuku while trying to wake up Nejire. "Do I have to go see them? I do not want to," said Nejire. "I know that you do not want to go and see them. I will be here for you," said Izuku. "Okay, I will go and see them, Zuzu. But after this, can we leave and head to the UA dorms?" asked Nejire. "Yes, we can leave after you see them and we can go to the UA dorms. But we will need to go to your dorm room because my dorm room is not done yet. I will also see if you can get Snowflake and bring her to your dorm room," said Izuku. "Okay Zuzu, thank you for that," said Nejire. After she said that, they got up and headed to see Mirio and Night Eye. Once they got to the room that Mirio was supposed to be in, he was not there. "Let's go and see if Mirio is with Night Eye before he dies," said Izuku. After he said that, they all left Mirio's room and headed to Night Eye's room. Once they got to Night Eye's room, they say that Mirio, All Might, Bubble Girl, Contemplator, and Recover Girl. "How is Night Eye doing, Chio?" asked Izuku. "He is not going to last much more time, so I would suggest that if you want to say anything, do it now," said Chio. "Okay, that sounds good, but I'm just fine. I do not need to say anything to him," said Izuku. "How is Nejire taking all of this, Sunny?" asked Chio. "Well, she is not taking it that best, but she wants to leave after and cuddle with me. She also cried for about 5 minutes and passed out before we got here," said Izuku. That sounds like it would be a reaction when you learn that one of your friends lost the capability of doing what they wanted to do," said Chio. While Izuku and Chio were talking, Nejire was trying to talk with Mirio. But Mirio did not want to talk to Nejire, so he pushed her away. However, before Nejire could hit the floor, Izuku appeared behind Nejire and caught her. "Are you okay, Koala?" asked Izuku. But Nejire did not answer the question Izuku asked her. All she did was turn around and cry into the chest of Izuku. "You did not need to do that, Mirio. All she was doing was trying to do was help you through this," said Izuku. After he said that, he picked Nejire up and started to wake away. "Aizawa, me and Nejire are going to be heading to Ua," said Izuku as he passed Aizawa. "That is just fine. Izuku, just make sure that Nejire is doing fine," said Aizawa. "Hey Yu, can you go get Snowflake and Rose? Once you get them, can you take them to Nejire's dorm room?" text Izuku. 20 minutes later. "Okay, I will do that. But may I know why you want me to get them and bring them to Nejire's dorm room?" text Yu. "Have you seen the news yet? If not, there was a raid and Mirio and Night Eye got hurt. Mirio will not be able to be a hero anymore. Then there's Night Eye. He is going to die soon. So that is why I want you to bring them to Nejire's dorm room," text Izuku. 5 minutes later. "Okay, I will do that and thank you for letting me know," text Yu. 30 minutes later. At Ua third-year dorms. Once Izuku and Nejire got to the third-year dorm, Izuku was carrying Nejire. "How is she doing?" asked Yu. "She passed out about midway here on the train. I did not want to wake her, so I just let her sleep." Then once the train got to our stop I picked her and carried here. Can you show me to her room so I can take her there? Then I'm going to make something to eat for her and anyone else who wants some food, said Izuku. Okay, you can do that, but I think that Ichigo will be here soon, so you may not need to cook something. Follow me to Nejire's room, Eri and Rose are already there sleeping, said Yuyu, after he said that she headed to Nejire's dorm room. Okay, thank you for letting me know that, said Izuku as he followed Yuyu. 5 minutes later. At Nejire's dorm room. This is Nejire's dorm room. You can just put her on her bed, said Yuyu. Okay, I will do so and I will come down once I'm done up here, said Izuku. After he said that Yuyu left and headed back to the third-year common room. 20 minutes later Izuku came down with Eri in his arms. Few hours later Nejire came down from her room with Rose. Hey Koala, are you feeling better after your nap? Asked Izuku. I'm feeling better Zuzu. For now I'm just hungry. Is there something for me to eat? Asked Nejire. Yes, there is some food, me and Ichigo both made some food, said Izuku. 20 minutes later after they all had something to eat. Let's watch something on TV, said Izuku. Okay, let's see what is on TV, said Ichigo, after he said that everyone who was eating in the kitchen. What do you want to watch? Ichigo asked. We can watch Transformers, said Yuyu. Which Transformer do you want to watch Yuyu? Asked Izuku. I'm out about the first Transformer, said Yuyu. Okay, that sounds good, said Ichigo. Let's see if that show is on, but if it is not on we can watch Tom and Jerry, the movie, said Nejire. 10 minutes later after looking for the two shows suggested they could not find any of the movers. Do you mind if we watch Godzilla vs. Kong? Said Izuku and Ichigo at the same time. Why are the two of you the same? You want to see two big-ass animals fighting, said Nejire and Yuyu at the same time as well. Well, let's see if it is on, and if it is not on you can look for a move deal, said Izuku. Okay, we will take you up on that offer Zuzu, said Nejire. 5 minutes later Izuku was able to find Godzilla vs. Kong. Looks like we are going to watch Godzilla vs. Kong, but next time we will watch something that the two of you want to watch, said Izuku. After Izuku said that he pressed play on the movie. While the movie was doing the clips of other movies Izuku got up to get something to eat during the movie. What do you want to have as a snack or snacks? Asked Izuku. Few minutes later Izuku came back with 2 buckets of popcorn, some chocolates, chips, gummy bears, Sour Patch Kids, Twizzlers, and some drinks. Once the snacks were passed out the movie had just started. Hey Zuzu, what kind of popcorn did you get? Asked Nejire. Well for me I got caramel popcorn and for Ichigo and Yuyu I got them just butter popcorn, said Izuku. 2 hours later. What time is it? Izuku said quietly. After he said that he grabbed his phone and looked at the time. Well, looks like I'm going to need to get them to their rooms. Never mind, I'm not going to do that, it's way too late. After Izuku said that to himself he got one of the blanks he had with him and draped it over Ichigo and Yuyu. The other blank he had he draped it over him, Eri, Nejire, and Rose. The next day. In the common room. I think that I should get up and make some breakfast for everyone, thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that he tried to get out from under Nejire and Eri. 5 minutes later Izuku was able to get out from under Nejire and Eri. I will just make something simple, thought Izuku. 15 minutes later. The food is almost done, I just need to wake them up and let the food set some, Izuku said quietly. After he said that he went over to Ichigo to wake him up. Hey Ichigo, wake up, breakfast is done and you are going to wake up your girlfriend. I will wake up Koaka and Snowflake, said Izuku. Okay, I'm up, give me a minute and I will wake up Yuyu, said Ichigo. After Ichigo said that, Izuku headed to wake up Nejire and Eri. Hey Koala, wake up so we can have breakfast. Hey Snowflake, wake up so we can have breakfast, said Izuku while shaking the two. 5 more minutes, mumbled out Nejire and Eri at the same time. Well, it seems like I will just need to eat the cinnamon apple pancakes and then the strawberry vanilla pancakes, said Izuku. After he said that he started to head to the kitchen. But before he could get that far from the couch there was a light blue and a white shape that grabbed on Izuku. No daddy, Zuzu, you will not eat the cinnamon, strawberry apple, vanilla pancakes, yelled out both Nejire and Eri at the same time. Well, looks like that got you two up. It also seems like you two have whacked up Yuyu and Ichigo, said Izuku. After he said that, he walked over to the couch that Ichigo and Yuyu were on. Once he got to the couch they were on he smacked them on their heads with his metal arm. Get up so we can eat, said Izuku. After he said that he headed to the kitchen with Eri and Nejire hanging on his back. Think of how Yachiru Kusajishi hangs on the back of Kenpachi. 20 minutes later. Hey Izuku, when are you planning on going back to their dorm? Asked Ichigo. I think that Ryukyu wants to meet me, Koala, Froggy, and Kirby today. I think that she wants to talk to us about what happened during the raid that just happened. So I will be going to the 1A dorms soon, said Izuku. 20 minutes later. Hey Zuzu, I think that we should go and get Froggy and Kirby now, because I just got a text from Ryukyu asking me to get you and the other two as well, said Nejire. Okay, that sounds good, come on Koala and Snowflake, said Izuku. After he said that he stood up and had Eri on his back hanging. When he started to walk away while Nejire was floating to the side of him and Rose was following him. Few minutes later at the common room of 1A dorms. Hey Kirby and Froggy, come on, let's get going to Ryukyu's agency. Because she wants to have a conversation about the raid we were a part of yesterday, said Izuku. Okay, but how are we going to get there? Asked Sue. We are going to be using Zuzu's bike, said Nejire. Okay, that sounds just fine with us, but can we finish having breakfast? Asked Ochako. How about this, you can get your breakfast and eat it on the way there. You have about 10 minutes because it will take some time for my bike to turn on, said Izuku. Why will it take so long for your bike to? Asked Ochako. Well, my bike would only take about a minute to turn on. But since it has not been turned on for about 1 week, so it will take some time for the motor to fully turn on, said Izuku. After he said that he went to where his bike was. 10 minutes later, Izuku entered the common room. Okay, let's get going. Ryukyu enters, said Izuku. After he said that he headed to his bike. Once he said that Eri, Nejire, Su, and Ochako followed him to Izuku's bike. Okay, you four can ride in the sidecar, Izuku said while pointing to Eri, Rose, Su, and Ochako. May I know where Nejire-senpai is going to be sitting? Asked Ochako. Well, I'm going to sit right behind Zuzu, said Nejire, after she said that she sat behind Izuku and held onto the torso of Izuku. At the Ryukyu agency. Okay, let's get going, said Izuku as he parked his bike. After Izuku said that he, Nejire, Eri, and Rose hopped off the bike and started to head to the nearest entrance to them. Few minutes later Ochako and Su started to follow them. Once everyone was in the main room of the agency. Hey Dragon, why did you want to take with us? Asked Izuku. Well, I wanted to know how you four were doing after the raid, said Ryukyu. I'm doing just fine. I may have had to fight 2 fights but I'm just fine, said Izuku. I'm doing fine as well now, said Nejire. We are going just fine, Ryukyu, said Ochako and Su. What do you mean that you are fine now, Nejire? Asked Ryukyu. Well, me and Zuzu, but before she could continue speaking Izuku stopped her. How about I let Dragon know why you said the koala? Asked Izuku. After he asked that she nodded her head yes. Well, after the raid happened we got to the hospital and we got looked over. I was waiting for Nejire in the waiting room. Once she got there she let me know who everyone was doing. She got to how Mirio and Nighty were doing. She started to cry. I picked her up and let her cry into my chest. She passed out and about 5 or 10 minutes later Aizawa came in and let us know that we should go and see how the others were doing. I woke her up and convinced her to go and see how they are doing. Once we got to the room where Mirio was supposed to be and we realized that he was most likely in the same room where Night Eye was in. We went there and I let her go to try to comfort him. But he did not want anything to do with her and after she tried to comfort him he pushed her away which almost made her fall and hit the ground. But before she could fall to the ground I caught her, that is why she said that. After that happened she started to cry again and I let her cry into my chest. Once I noticed that I decided that we should leave. After we left we used the train to get back to Ua on the way there. She had fallen asleep. It took about 30 minutes to get there. I carried her to the third-year dorms and once I got to the dorms I put her into her room then I let her sleep there with Snowflake and Rose. After some time had passed Eri woke up then some more time later passed Koala and Rose came down. We ate some food and Orange and Strawberry joined up. Then after we ate we decided to watch something, said Izuku. Okay, that seems nice, said Ryukyu. May we know how Orange and Strawberry are? Asked Ochako. After she asked that Nejire and Ryukyu started to giggle. That is how Zuzu calls Ichigo and Yuyu. It makes Ichigo mad but Yuyu just gave up on making him not to call her that, said Nejire. May we know how Ichigo and Yuyu are? Asked Su. They are some third years that are friends of Koala and now me, said Izuku. 1 week later, a week before the Ua school festival. In Izuku's dorm room in the 1A dorms. Hey Zuzu, I want to know something, said Nejire. What do you want to know Koala? Asked Izuku. I want to know if you went to I Island. Asked Nejire. Yes I did because I was invited to go there. Why did you want to know the Koala? Asked Izuku. Well, I wanted to know how you dealt with the attack there, asked Nejire. Well, I ran into Momo, Kirby, Ochako, Tintin, and someone called Melissa in the I-Expo. After that we went to get something to drink. When we got there we saw that Kaminari and Mineta were there. It took some time for them to wonder why I was there. But the first one to ask me why was Melissa. She wanted to know why I was there and how I got invited. I told her how I got invited and told her more about myself, said Izuku. Hey Zuzu, may I know how you got invited to I Island? Asked Nejire. But before Izuku could let her know how he got invited to I Island the door that contest to Eri's room opened. Daddy, can I join you and Mama? Asked Eri. Yes you can, Snowflake. Just hop in the bed with us, said Izuku. Okay Daddy, may I know what you and Mama are talking about? Asked Eri. Well, I wanted to know how Zuzu got invited to I Island, said Nejire. Really I want to know as well Daddy, said Izuku. Right, I was letting Koala know how I got invited to I Island. The reason that I got invited was because I Island wanted to see the work of me and some of the work that I still had of Shuru Emiya. That is the reason that I got invited to I Island. Where was I in the story? Oh, now I remember where I was. After I let Melissa know I got invited. Ida had come running to where we were. But once he got there he started to harp at Kaminari and Mineta. After he did that we all heard some loud sounds in the distance. We decided to go and find out what made the sound. We made it to some place that looked like a mountain. Once we got there we saw that Kirishima and Kasimi were there as well. I asked them why they were doing there. The reason that they were there was because Kasimi got invited because she won the Ua Sports Festival. After I heard that I decided to try out the mount. The mount was to see who could destroy some robots the fastest. I tried it and I got 10 seconds and I was in first place. After we were done there we went back to the place where we got the drinks from. Melissa decided to give Kaminari and Mineta. After that we split up. Once we were about to split up we decided to meet up later on. At least everyone except for Mirio wanted to go with All Might. It took me some time to get to the meeting place. I had worn my gray pants with many pockets and I also had on my black button-up shirt. Once I got there, everyone was not there. We still had to wait for 4 more people to get there. It was not very long that we needed to wait for them to get there. But before we could leave the meeting place, the whole island went on lockdown. Me and Jiro went to a room where we could see the room with all of the heroes and the civilians. They did the same thing as in canon in the Two Heroes movie. The same thing happened up to the point when Izuku and Melissa split up from Ochako, Todoroki, Kirishima, and Bakugo. It went up as canon up to the point where David was shot. After David got shot, I told Melissa to go and deactivate the island's defenses. But when she was on her way to the entrance of the main room, the villain used his quirk and sent an attack at her. I saw that she did not notice the attack, so I decided to block the attack from hitting her. After I did that, I told Melissa to go and deactivate the island's security. Once she left, a few minutes had passed when the villain decided to leave with David over his shoulder. It took me a little bit of time to get rid of the pillar of metal off of me. Once I got free, I headed after them. On the way, I noticed that my right arm was slightly dislocated. It took me about 10 minutes to get to the top. Once I got to the roof, I noticed that there was a helicopter there. I told them to stop and let go of David, but he did not want to, so he sent some pillars at me. I dogged them, but by the time I got past them, the helicopter was made about 10 feet in the air. Once I noticed that, I decided to activate my quirk, then I jumped up at the helicopter. When I had landed on the helicopter, I tried to get David out of it. But I could not get him out of it because I got shot at and I was shot in the side and in my metal arm. After I got launched out of the helicopter, I made a decently big crater in the helipad. I got up so I could try to free David, but I noticed that all might have flown up past me and Melissa. He took care of the helicopter and got David out of it. The fight went the same as in canon in the movie. That is what happened at I-Island, said Izuku. Okay, thank you for letting me know what happened at I-Island, Zuzu. But do you know where Mirio was at the time? Asked Nejire. Well, I think that he was helping the other heroes. I truly don't really know where he was. Even when I asked him where he was, he did not say where he was. Do you guys want something to eat? Asked Izuku. I want something to eat, Daddy, said Eri. I would also like something to eat as well, Zuzu, said Nejire. Okay, let's get up and so I can make something for us to eat, said Izuku. After he said that, they got up and headed to the kitchen to have something to eat. Once they got to the kitchen, Izuku started to make something to eat. 20 minutes later. Okay, the food is done now, let's eat, said Izuku. After he said that, they ate their food. What do you want to do today? Asked Izuku. I don't know, Zuzu. How about this, we do nothing for the day, then tomorrow we can do something, said Nejire. That sounds good. I'm going to need to go home and check on the planet there, said Izuku. Daddy, we can do that tomorrow, said Eri. The next day in Izuku's room. I wonder when I should wake them up, so he can see if we can leave for the day, thought Izuku. 10 minutes later. I think that I should wake them up now before it gets too late. After Izuku was done thinking that, he decided to wake Nejire and Eri up. Hey Snowflake and Koala, I think that you should wake up now so we can see if we can leave for the day, said Izuku. After 5 minutes of Izuku trying to wake Nejire and Eri up. What time is it, Zuzu? Asked Nejire. I think it is about 9 o'clock. So I think that it is time to get up now, said Izuku. Okay, we can get up and have some breakfast, said Nejire. Okay mama, but can you carry me daddy down? Asked Eri. Yes, I can, Snowflake, I can carry you down, said Izuku. After he said that, they all hopped out of Izuku's bed and headed to the kitchen. Once they got to the kitchen, Izuku set Eri down on the couch. 10 minutes later, some people started to come down. Hey Airhead, how are you doing and why are you wearing one of Iken's shirts? Asked Kasimi. Well, Zuzu is right now in the kitchen making food. Plus I did sleep in his room last night as well, said Nejire. Okay, that makes some sense. I'm going to go and say hi to him. After she said that, she went to the kitchen after saying hi Eri as well. Once she got to the kitchen. Hey Iken, how are you doing? Asked Kasimi as she turned around the corner of the wall. As she turned the corner, she saw that Izuku was not wearing a shirt. What the hell, Iken, why the fuck are you not wearing a fucking shirt? Asked Kasimi while yelling. After she had yelled that out, a few of the people that were down in the common room ran over to the kitchen. Why did you yell, Kasimi? Asked Momo. After she asked that, everyone saw that Kasimi was pointing in front of her. Once they noticed that Kasimi was pointing at, they all looked forward to see what it was. When they saw Izuku in the kitchen without a shirt on. Izuku-san, may I know why you do not have a shirt on right now? Asked Momo. Oh hey, how are you guys doing right now and what are you all so shocked about? Asked Izuku. We are doing just fine, Iken. But may I know why you are not wearing a shirt right now? Asked Kasimi. Well, me, Snowflake, and Koala got up. Then we decided to come down to have breakfast. Once we got down, I decided to make some food. The reason that I do not have a shirt on is because Koala has my shirt on right now and I was too lazy to get another one out. Leave now so I can finish breakfast, Izuku said while swinging a spoon around at them. 10 minutes later. The food is done now, so someone came and helped me bring the food out, said Izuku. After he said that, Kirishima came to help him bring the food out. Let's eat now, said Izuku at him, and Kirishima had set down the food. 10 minutes later. Daddy, can we leave now? Asked Eri. Let me see if it is just fine with the teacher, Snowflake, said Izuku. Rat, is it fine if me, Snowflake, Rose, and Koala leave for the weekend? If you want to know why we are going to leave is because I need to check on how my house is doing, said Izuku to the air. You know that Nezu is not here, right? Asked Momo. Really, I'm pretty sure that he is here. Right, Rat, said Izuku. As he said that, he went over to the vent that was in the middle of the kitchen. Once he got over to the vent, he opened it and reached his hand into it. Once he put his hand in the vent, he grabbed something in the vent. After he did, he started to pull his arm out with Nezu in his hand. So is it fine if we go to my house for the weekend? Said Izuku as he put Nezu on his right shoulder. It should not be a problem because we know where you will be for the weekend, said Nezu. Right, Aizawa? Asked Nezu. It is just fine with me, as long as you come back to UA on Monday next week, said Aizawa. Okay, we will be leaving once I have turned on my bike, said Izuku as he passed the table, and he set Nezu down on the table as he passed it. My bike should be done in a few minutes, said Izuku, after he said that he left the kitchen with Rose beside him. A few minutes later. Rose, can you go and get Snowflake and Koala so we can go? Asked Izuku. After he asked that to Rose, she ran off to get Eri and Nejire. A few minutes later, Rose came back with Eri and Nejire with her. Hey Snowflake, do you like riding on Rose's back? Asked Izuku. Yes daddy, I'm having fun riding on Rose's back, said Eri, after she said that the three had arrived at Izuku. Once they got to Izuku, Eri jumped over to Izuku's arms. Can we go home now? Asked Eri. Yes, we can leave now Snowflake. We just need to get on my bike then we can leave, said Izuku. After he said that, they walked over to Izuku's bike and hopped onto it. Once they got onto the bike, Izuku drove it to his house. I wonder if the car that I ordered has been delivered yet or not. I will just need to wait and find out. I also wonder if the parts that I ordered have been delivered as well, thought Izuku. 20 minutes later they got to Izuku's house. We're here now. You can hop off the bike if you want to, said Izuku as he passed through the main gates of his compound. After he said that, Eri and Rose hopped off the bike. Hey Koala, do you want to do something for me? Asked Izuku. Sure, what is it, Zuzu? Asked Nejire. Can you go to the material drop-off area and see if there is a car and parts there as well, said Izuku. Yes I can Zuzu. But where are you going to be? Asked Nejire. Well, I'm going to put my bike in my garage, and if I'm done doing that before you have met up with me, I will be on my way to the material drop-off area, said Izuku. Okay, I will do that, Zuzu, said Nejire. After she said that, she floated off and headed to the material drop-off area. Few minutes later, Izuku had put his bike into the garage and headed his way to the material drop-off area. I wonder where Koala is at right now, thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that, he saw that Nejire was flying around with Eri on the back of Rose, chasing her around. Well, it seems like I figured out where she is. I will go and see if my car and parts have been delivered yet, thought Izuku. After Izuku was done thinking that, he had got to the gate for the material drop-off area. Once he got to the gates, he opened a door, so he did not need to open the gate. After he opened the door, he entered the room. Well, it seems like my car and parts have been delivered. I just need to put the parts on my car now. The car is a red Nissan GTR, thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that, he looked around the keys for his new car. Once he found the keys for his car. I wonder how my car sounds, Izuku said out loud to himself. After he said that, he entered the car, then he started it. It sounds like a stock Nissan GTR. After Izuku had turned his new car on, Nejire, Eri, and Rose came to see what made the noise. Wow daddy, you got a new car, said Eri as she came over to the door Izuku was at with Rose under her.
Yes I did Snowflake. Do you want to come in and come with me for a test drive before I add everything onto it that I got? Asked Izuku.
Yes I do daddy. But can Rose come as well? Asked Eri. Yes she can, but we would just need to get her harness, then we can leave. Plus we are going to need to get you a car seat today as well. How about this, Koala will go with you and help you find Rose's harness. While you do that, I'm going to be moving the parts that I got, said Izuku. Okay daddy, I can do that. Mommy, can you help me find Rose's harness so we can leave? Asked Eri. Sure, I can help you do that, said Nejire from the other side of the passenger side. After she said that, she hopped out with Eri, and then they started to look for Rose's harness. Once the two left, Izuku started to move the parts he had got as well. 20 minutes later, Izuku was able to move most of the parts to his garage. Daddy, we have got Rose's harness, can we leave now? Asked Eri. Let me just move this last part to the garage, then we can leave, said Izuku, as he headed to the garage with the last part on his shoulder. After Izuku was done moving to the parts he had got to his garage. Okay, we can leave now, said Izuku. After he said that, he headed to the material drop-off area. Okay Koala, can you help Snowflake and Rose get into the car while I open the gate? Asked Izuku. Yes, I can help them get in. However, I will only help her if she needs the help, said Nejire. That is just fine, just make sure that you help them when it is needed, said Izuku. After he said that, he moved to the gate and opened them. While he did that, Nejire helped Eri and Rose into the car. 20 minutes later at the nearest mall. We're here now, let's go get some food. Then we can go and get the things we need to get, said Izuku as he was parking his car. Once he was done parking his car, the Izuku and Nejire opened the doors. When they got out, Izuku helped Eri get out of the back and Nejire helped Rose out as well. Hey Zuzu, can we go and get some food before we go and get what we need? Asked Nejire. After she said that, she, Eri and Rose all gave Izuku puppy eyes. Okay, let's first get into the mail. Then we can go and look for a place for food, said Izuku. After he said that, they all headed to the mail's entrance. Halfway to the mail entrance. Daddy, can you take the leash for Rose? Asked Eri. Yes, I can Snowflake. Do you want to ride on my shoulder as well? Asked Izuku. After he said that, he took the leash from Eri. I would like to, Daddy, said Eri. After she said that, Izuku moved the leash to one of his belt loops. Once Izuku had done that, he leaned down to pick up Eri and then he put her on his shoulders. 5 minutes later, they got to the entrance of the mail. Okay, we are here. What do you all want to eat? Asked Izuku. I want some American food. How about you Snowflake? Asked Nejire. I want him Daddy. What did you call that food that you got us that one time? asked Eri as she looked over his head. Do you mean Mexican food, Snowflake? Asked Izuku as he looked up at Eri. Yes I do, Daddy. I would love to have some my canned food, said Eri. It is Mexican food, not my canned food. But I know that sometimes you struggle to pronounce X in some words, said Izuku. What do you mean that she struggles to pronounce X in some words, Zuzu? Asked Nejire. Well Mama, I struggle so say X in words that are new words that I do not know or use much, said Eri. Oh, that sounds reasonable, said Nejire. Let's see if we can find a place that is selling Mexican food, and if we do not we can look for somewhere that sells American food, said Izuku. After he said that, they started to look for a place that sells Mexican food or sells American food. Few minutes later they found a place that sells Mexican food. Well, looks like we found somewhere that sells Mexican food. Have you ever had some Mexican food before, Koala? Asked Izuku. No, I have not had Mexican food before, Zuzu. I wonder what it will taste like. Do you have any suggestions for me? Asked Nejire. Well, for you I probably would have to wait to let you know, but I would suggest you to get a torta. However, I do not know what they have here, said Izuku. Okay, I will get that if they have it, said Nejire. After she said that, they entered the restaurant. Hello there, how may I help you? Said the person at the cash register. I would like to have a pork burrito and have horchata to drink, said Izuku. I would like to have. Daddy, what did I have the last time? Asked Eri. You had 4 pork tacos last time, and for the drink you just drank from my drink. So could we have 4 pork tacos for her, said Izuku. I would like to have. Zuzu, what did you suggest for me to try? Asked Nejire. Well, I suggest you to try torta. But what kind of meat do you want on it? What do you want to drink? Asked Izuku. I would like to have pork as well. I will just try the drink that you get, said Nejire. Okay, for her a pork torta and add another horchata, said Izuku. Okay, so the order is 1 pork burrito, pork torta, 4 pork tacos, and 2 horchatas. That would be $44, said the person. If you are wondering where I got these prices, I got it from La Unica. After he said that, Izuku grabbed his credit card and paid for the food. Once Izuku paid, grabbed the number for the table and gave it to Eri. Once he did that, he grabbed the 2 horchatas from the countertop. Where do you want to sit, Snowflake and Koala? Asked Izuku. I want to sit in a booth, Daddy, said Eri. Sure, I don't mind that, Zuzu, said Nejire. Well, we just need to find an open booth, then we can sit down, said Izuku. After he said that, they found an open booth. Once they were sitting down, Izuku took Eri off of his shoulders and set her down. Zuzu, how long should it take for the food to be done? Asked Nejire. I do not know how long it will take, but I do not think it will take that long for the food to be brought. They should bring some salsa and chips, said Izuku. 10 minutes later, the food had came. Let's eat now, said Izuku. 25 minutes later they had finished the food. Let's go get what we need, Zuzu, said Nejire. Okay, let's do that, Koala. Come on, Snowflake, let's get going, said Izuku. Okay, Daddy, we can leave. Daddy, can I ride on your shoulders again? Asked Eri. Yes, you can, Snowflake, said Izuku. After he said that, he stood up and then picked up Eri, then put her on his shoulders. What do you all want? Asked Izuku. I need to get some new clothes and personal hygiene products, said Nejire. Hey Koala, can you take Snowflake with you because she is going to need some more as well? Asked Izuku. Okay, I can, but where are you going to be? Asked Nejire. I will be in the store to the left of this one, Koala, said Izuku. After he said that, he took Eri off of his shoulders and gave her to Nejire. Okay, that sounds good, and thank you for letting the 2 of us, said Nejire. After she said that, she took Eri from Izuku and gave Izuku a kiss on the lips. I wonder if I will find anything that I need in this store, thought Izuku as he entered the store. 20 minutes later. There was a decent amount of things that I needed there, thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that, he had left the store and headed to the store that Eri and Nejire was at. Once he got to the store, he saw that they were heading to pay for the things that they got. So did you find what you needed, Koala and Snowflake? Asked Izuku. Yes, we did find what we needed. How about you, Zuzu? Asked Nejire. Yes, I did, Koala. They're in this bag right here, said Izuku. After he said that, he lifted the bag in his right hand. Few minutes later, Izuku had paid for everything that Nejire and Eri had. Once the things got paid for, they headed to one last store to get a car seat for Eri. After they got the car seat, they left the mail and headed to Izuku's car. Once they got to the car, Izuku put the car seat in. Then Izuku helped Eri into the car. Okay, let's get back home, said Izuku as he entered the car and started it. 20 minutes later, they got back to the house. Few hours later, Zuzu, I think that it is about time for you to come in, said Nejire. Give me a little bit more time. Let me just put this part on, said Izuku. A few minutes later, Izuku opened the door. Good night, Daddy, said Eri as she gave Izuku's leg a hug. Good night, Snowflake. I would give you a hug, but my hands are dirty right now, said Izuku. After he said that, Eri headed to bed. Hey Zuzu, what have you done to your car? Asked Nejire. Well, the past few hours I was able to add twin turbos and change the spark plugs, the oil, the antifreeze, engine oil, and started to put the body part on. I still need to do the paint and finish adding the body kit. Oh, I also going to lower it as far as I can, said Izuku. So how long should it take for you to be done modifying your car? Even though I do not know what half of the things you said, Zuzu, said Nejire. I should be able to finish by tomorrow, but the paint will take about 3 more days. Hey, can you help me decide what color I should paint my car? Asked Izuku. I would like to see how your car looks like once the body kit is on, said Nejire. Okay, that sounds good with me. I was going to ask you in Snowflake for the color when I have fully put on the body kit, said Izuku. Okay, that sounds fine with me. Can you go take a bath before you come and watch some TV with me? Asked Nejire. Yes, I can koala do that, said Izuku, after he said that he was done washing his hands. Once he was done washing his hands, he headed to his room to get a change of clothes. When he had his change of clothes, he headed to the bathroom. 30 minutes later, Izuku had finished his bath. Once he was done bathing, he was going to put his clothes on, but they were not there. I wonder if koala took my clothing for some reason, thought Izuku, after he was done thinking that he had a towel around his waist. Once he left the bathroom, he headed to his room to see if his clothes were there and if Nejire was there as well. Hey koala, what are we going to watch? Asked Izuku. As he asked that, he turned around and saw that Nejire was just wearing one of his shirts and nothing else. Well, this is not what I was expecting, said Izuku. Well, Zuzu, I think that we should do something special for our 1-month anniversary, said Nejire. Well, that is good with me, but our 1-month anniversary is tomorrow, not today, said Izuku. I know that, but I wanted it to be special, especially because my last relationship did not last as long as this one. At least not stay this stable. The relationship that I had with Mirio, we only were like me and you for about 2 weeks before he met All Might, or should I call him Toshinonori Yagi. We had been dating for about 1.5 years when I met you in Snowflake, said Nejire. That makes sense because I know that I met All Might about 1.5 years ago. But that means that Tintin had OFA for about 1.5 years and he had barely any control over it, asked Izuku. After he asked that, he got to the bed and then sat down on the bed. Well, he only got it about halfway through our relationship, so that would be about the first quarter of second year, said Nejire. That is rude of him, said Izuku. Hey Zuzu, if you got OFA, are you going to do the same thing as Tintin? Asked Nejire. Well, I will not leave you alone, koala. But I know that I might need to leave for some time if things go batshit crazy at some point. However, I will come back to you in Snowflake, said Izuku, after he said that he picked up Nejire and put her on his lap. Once she was on his lap, he gave her a kiss. Smut starts. This will be my first sex scene, after a few minutes of Izuku and Nejire making out. Izuku started to lay kisses across Nejire's J. I think that this should come off, koala, said Izuku, after he said that he took the shirt that Nejire was wearing. Well, look at what we have here, koala, said Izuku as he started to grope them. Then he started to kiss down to her breasts. Once his face got to her left breast, he moved his hand from her breast. After he moved his hand from her breast, he started to suck in her breast and moved his left hand down to Nejire's pussy. Once his hand was down at her pussy, he started to finger her pussy. Yes, Zuzu, this feels so good, keep doing it. Nejire moaned out, she said as she put her hand on the head of Izuku. 5 minutes of doing this. Zuzu, can we start having sex now, not just doing foreplay? Asked Nejire. Yes, we can, koala. But you will need to first let go of my head and my hand as well, said Izuku, after he said that Nejire let go of his head and his hand. Once she let go of Izuku's head and hand. Now it is my turn to give you some pleasure, Zuzu, said Nejire as she pushed Izuku fully down on the bed. After she did that, she took off the towel from Izuku's waist. Once the towel was off of Izuku's waist, Nejire was almost hit by Izuku's dick. Holy shit, he is bigger than I thought he was. No wonder he wears such loose clothes. It has to be at least 9 to 10 inches big. I wonder how much bigger will it be when it is fully hard, since it is this big when it is semi-hard. Though Nejire, after she was done thinking that, she started to move. Once she did that, she lifted herself up and lined herself up with Izuku's dick. When she was lined up with Izuku's dick, she was stopped by Izuku. Why did you stop me, Zuzu? Asked Nejire. Are you sure that you want to just go straight down on me and not use some protection? Asked Izuku. Yes, I'm sure that I want to go straight down on you and we do not need to use protection because I have been using birth control for about 1.5 years. Said Nejire, after she said that she moved Izuku's arms which were stopping her from going down. Once she did that, she moved down and put as much of Izuku's dick that could fit in her. After she did that, she looked down with a face that showed pleasure and some pain. Once she looked down, she saw that she had taken about half of Izuku's dick in and there was only about 5 inches left out. Are you okay, koala? Asked Izuku. Yes, I'm doing just fine, just need some time to adjust to your size, then I will need to get what is left out in Zuzu, said Nejire. Few minutes later, Nejire started to move again. After she started to move again, she lifted herself up and then brought herself down again. Once she came down fully, she had taken the last few inches in. Fuck, I'm out of shape. Because I have not had sex in a while, moaned out Nejire. That is the same for me, koala, groaned out Izuku. After he said that, Nejire started to move up and down on Izuku's dick. Once Nejire had been trying to find the rhythm to go, Izuku started to move his hips up to meet the pace that Nejire was at. After a few minutes of Nejire being on top and Izuku meeting her rhythm. Zuzu, I'm going to come, moaned out Nejire, nearly yelling. Meet a koala, groaned out Izuku. After a few more minutes of them fucking in the position they were in, they both came. I'm coming, koala, moaned out Izuku. Meet a Zuzu, moaned out Nejire, after she said that she had collapsed and laid on Izuku's chest. I think that I need a little break before we continue, said Nejire. I agree with you as well, koala, said Izuku. 5 minutes later. Are you ready for round 2, koala? Asked Izuku as he flipped their positions. Yes, I am, Zuzu, but be gentle because I'm still sensitive from my first orgasm in a while, said Nejire. After she said that, she started moaning again. Izuku was fucking Nejire by lifting her up by her waist and thrusting down into Nejire. After about 15 minutes of Izuku doing that, Zuzu, can we change positions? Asked Nejire while moaning out. Sure, but where do you want to go to? Asked Izuku while moaning and still thrusting into Nejire. After a few minutes later, on the wall, then the desk over there after fucking ages the wall. But I'm going to come soon, moaned out Nejire loudly. Meet a koala, moaned out Izuku as loud as Nejire, after he said that Nejire came and Izuku was on the verge of coming as well. But because Nejire came, Izuku felt like her pussy was clamping and trying to barn the semen from Izuku's dick. After a few seconds of Nejire's pussy trying to drain Izuku's dick of his semen, Izuku came. Once they were done coming, Izuku picked Nejire up by her hips and had a firm grip on her ass. Once he had fully stood up, he headed to the nearest wall and started to fuck her ages the wall. Fuck me harder, Zuzu, moaned out Nejire loudly, after she said that Izuku started to pick up the pace and force that he was using to fuck Nejire. They had sex nearly everywhere in Izuku's room but ended up on the bed and continued fucking until about 1 in the morning. Once it reached 1 in the morning, they stopped having sex and went to sleep. The next morning around 7, Izuku had awakened and he saw that Nejire was still asleep on his chest. 20 minutes later, Nejire had awakened. Good morning, koala. How are you feeling after yesterday? Asked Izuku. I'm doing just fine. I feel better than I have felt in a while, but I'm a little sore, said Nejire. After she said that, she tested that Izuku was still in her and she sat up. Then she started to grind her hips with Izuku's hips. I think that we could do a few rounds before Snowflake wakes up and wants you to make her some food, moaned out Nejire. After she said that they had sex for about an hour before someone rang at the gate. I wonder how that is. I hope that it is something important or I will try and kill them, said Izuku. After he said that, he went over to the bedside table with his phone and a monitor for the cameras he had. Well, it seems like it is Dragon. I wonder why she is here, said Izuku. I know that I was talking to her yesterday before you came here, said Nejire. I will ask her what she is doing here through the speaker, said Izuku, after he said that he used the speaker. Hey Dragon, what are you doing here? Asked Izuku through the speaker. Well, I had the day off and I wanted to see if you guys were here and to see if I can hang out with you, said Ryukyu through the speaker. Okay, I will open a hidden door so you can come through because we are not doctors right now, said Izuku. After he said that, he pressed a button on the screen to let Ryukyu in. Once the door opened, Ryukyu had entered the compound. Okay, do you want to stop now or later? Asked Izuku. How about we stop later and then if Dragon wants to join she can. But I do not know if she is into that kind of thing, said Nejire. Well, that part is up to her, but if she does join us we will need to figure out what our relationship will be after. But if she does not, then nothing will change between us, said Izuku. After he said that, he jumped back on the bed and then they started to have sex once again. About 20 minutes later, Ryukyu had got to Izuku's room and she knocked on the door. I'm coming in, said Ryukyu, after she said that she came into the room and shut the door behind her. Once she had entered the room, she was hit by a shit ton of lust and the smell of sex. When she entered the room, she heard Nejire moaning out harder Zuzu. Once she heard that, she turned around and saw that Izuku and Nejire were having sex. She was watching for a few minutes and she was starting to get horny. She started to strip down and once she was fully naked, she started to finger herself and grope one of her breasts. With Izuku and Nejire. I'm going to come Zuzu, said Nejire, after she said that she had came. Fuck, you are going to make me cum soon koala, said Izuku. After he said that he was sent over to Climax because of her pussy trying to get Izuku's semen. I think that I should go help little Dragon over there, Izuku whispered in the right ear of Nejire. After he said that, he pulled out of Nejire and moved over to Ryukyu. Once he got over to Ryukyu, he picked her up and started to kiss her and groping her breasts as well. Well, look at what we have here, a naughty little horny dragon. It seems like I will need to punish you, Dragon, said Izuku. After he said that, he started to kiss down from Ryukyu's lips to her breasts. Izuku, can you please up your dick in me because I have not had sex with a man in a long time, moaned out Ryukyu as she gripped into Izuku's dick and started to pump it. Yes, I'm in my little horny dragon, said Izuku. After he said that, he stuck his dick into Ryukyu's pussy. After he did that, he moaned out and Ryukyu moaned out as well. You're so much tighter than I thought you would be, said Izuku. You are so much bigger than I thought you were, Izu, moaned out Ryukyu. After she said that, she started to bounce on Izuku's dick by wrapping her legs around his waist. But she was not able to do much because Izuku had his hands on her hips and Izuku started to slam her down in his dick and was thrusting up into her pussy. Yes, Izu, fuck me harder, moaned out Ryukyu. After 5 minutes of Izuku fucking Ryukyu ages the wall. I'm going to come Izu, moaned out Ryukyu, after she said that she had came. Shit, I'm going to come soon as well, moaned out Izuku, after he said that he could not last any longer because of Ryukyu's pussy trying to get Izuku to unload his semen into her pussy. I think that we should move to my bed now and then we can have some fun there. After Izuku said that, he started to move over to his bed and put her on her hands and knees, so he could thrust into her pussy from behind and can grip her breasts as well. Fuck me harder Izu. I want you to destroy my pussy, moaned out Ryukyu. After a few hours of Izuku fucking Ryukyu's pussy from behind, they had been fucking in that position for about 30 minutes, then they changed positons as well. They had also had came about 10 times since Ryukyu got there, which was about 8, and they finished having sex around 9:20. Smutends, I think that I should go in bath then go make some food. You two can stay here and I will bring you the food, said Izuku. Okay Zuzu, Izu, we are too sore to move right now, said Nejire and Ryukyu at the same time. 30 minutes later, Izuku had finished bathing and cooking some breakfast. He put some of the food he made on 2 tries and so he could take the food to them. Hey Snowflake, how are you doing today? Asked Izuku after he gave her a kiss on her forehead. I'm doing good daddy, but where is mama? Asked Eri. as she sat down on one of the chairs. Well, she is with Dragon in my room they're taking right now, said Izuku. Can I go there after I'm done eating breakfast? Asked Eri. Yes, you can, but they might not be there because they might be bathing when you come in. But before you come, can you feed Rose and let her out as well? Said Izuku. After he said that, he grabbed the trays and headed back to his room. Once he got to his room, he entered it and put the food on the bed in front of one and the other. Here's your food. I think that your two should bath because Snowflake is going to be coming here after she is done eating and feeding Rose and letting her out, said Izuku. After he said that, he went over to the windows so he could open it. Hey Ryukyu, I have a question for you, said Izuku. What is your question you have? This food is amazing, said Ryukyu. Did you even have protection? Asked Izuku. No, I'm not using protection. Why do you want to know? Asked Ryukyu. After she said that, Izuku had just taken a drink from his coffee, and when he heard that, he started to choke. Well, should I may be a father in 9 months, said Izuku. After he said that, Ryukyu got a bright red blush and Nejire started to laugh. What do you two want to do today? Asked Izuku. I want to do nothing today, said Nejire. Same for me. I just wanted to relax for today and I did not expect to have sex with you, Izu, said Ryukyu. Okay, that is good with me, but I'm going to finish my car, or at least finish it as best as I can today, said Izuku as he gathered up the clothes that were everywhere in the room. After he said that, he got up and took the trays of food. Once he did that, he headed to the kitchen and then to the garage. On the way to the garage, he pasted Eri. Hey Snowflake, are you going to visit Dragon and Koala? Asked Izuku after giving her a kiss on her forehead. Yes daddy, I'm going to see them, said Eri. Okay, you can do that, but they may not be in the room because they may be bathing when you get there, said Izuku. Okay daddy, if I do not see them I will wait a little, and if they do not come out I will come out with you, said Eri. Okay, that is just fine with me Snowflake. If you do come out you can help me or you can play with Rose, said Izuku. Wait, I'm going to go and get the bed sheets and wash them, thought Izuku. After he had thought that, he turned around and headed back to his room to get the bed sheets. Once he got to his room, he grabbed his laundry basket with some clothes and he started to gather up the bed sheets. Hey Snowflake, do you have any clothes that need to be washed? Asked Izuku. No, I do not. I only have the clothes that I had on yesterday and Friday, said Eri. Okay, let me know if you want your clothes washed or if you want your bed sheets washed as well, said Izuku. Okay daddy, I will do so, said Eri. After she said that, she sat on the bed and waited for Nejire or Ryukyu to come back. 20 minutes later, Eri had came out because she was bored of waiting for Nejire or Ryukyu to come out. Hey Snowflake, are you done waiting for them to get done bathing? Asked Izuku. Yes daddy, I'm going to be playing with Rose, said Eri. Okay, I will let you know if I need your help, said Izuku. 10 more minutes later. Hey Zuzu, where is Snowflake? Asked Nejire. Yeah, I want to see Snowflake after all of this time, Izu, said Ryukyu. Give me a minute and I will answer you, but can you give me the ratchet by my foot? Asked Izuku. Yes, I can Zuzu, said Nejire. After she said that, she went and gave Izuku the ratchet he wanted. Thank you Koala, said Izuku. After he took it, he finished putting the side panel he was working on. Now I just need to add the other side panel and then the back piece. Then paint my car. Snowflake is out playing with Rose right now, so she is somewhere in the yard. Hey, can one of you let me know what time it is? Asked Izuku. Well, it is 10:30 right now, Izu, said Ryukyu. Thank you for letting me know, Dragon. Can you let me know when there is about 30 minutes before lunch? Unless if one of you two wants to cook lunch, said Izuku. I do not know how to cook without burning the food. We will let you know when there is that amount of time, Izu, Zuzu, said Nejire and Ryukyu. Thank you for doing that, said Izuku. We are going to see if we can find Snowflake, said Nejire. 1 hour later. Zuzu, there is about 30 minutes before lunch, said Nejire. Okay, I will start making lunch after I take this part off, said Izuku. After Izuku said that, he hadn't took off the part he was trying to take off. Once he had taken the part off, he had cut his left arm. Fuck, this shit is going to take some time to heal, said Izuku. After he said that, he deactivated the quark cancelling cuff so his arm can heal quicker. Once he did that, he got up and headed to wash his hands and to take care of his arm. For the rest of the day they were just hanging out and Izuku had finished putting the body kit on his car. Once he did that, he asked Eri, Nejire, and Ryukyu what color he should paint his car. But Nejire and Eri could not figure out a good color for the car. However, Ryukyu came up with a color for the car. The color she said was midnight purple. After she suggested the color, he went to order the colo the next day. Hey Koala, Dragon. I think that it is time for us to wake up now, said Izuku. After he said that, he shook their shoulders. 5 more minutes, mumbled out Nejire and Ryukyu at the same time. Well, it seems like I will not be making you two our favorite breakfast food today, said Izuku. After he said that, Nejire and Ryukyu got up, but they forgot that they did not have any clothes on, since the three of them had sex again last night. No, I want strawberry, dragon fruit pancakes, said Nejire and Ryukyu, nearly yelling. I do not mind the view you two are giving me, but if you two want me to make you that, I think that we should get dressed for the day. Dragon, if you want to take a set of my clothes you can take a set, said Izuku. After he said that, he got up and got dressed for the day, and after he was done getting dressed, he headed to the kitchen. Once Izuku got out of the bed, Nejire and Ryukyu put on a set of Izuku's clothes. After they had that, they headed to the kitchen. 20 minutes later. Hey, can one of you go and wake up Snowflake and Rose? Because breakfast is almost done, said Izuku. I will go and wake them up, Zuzu, said Nejire. After she said that, she left and headed to Eri's room. 5 minutes later, Nejire had come back with Eri and Rose. I'm back with them, Zuzu, said Nejire. Good morning Daddy and Aunt Ryukyu, yonded out Eri. Good morning Snowflake, said Ryukyu. Good morning sweetheart, said Izuku and gave a kiss on her forehead. After he did that he went to get the food. Let's eat then we can leave, said Izuku after he said that he passed out the food and set out some food for Rose. 20 minutes later. Hey dragon, do you want to ride to your agency or your house? Asked Izuku. I would not mind having a ride to my agency and I can just change my clothes at my room there, said Ryukyu. Okay that sounds good with me. We will just head that way then we'll head to Ua after, said Izuku. I will take your plates then we can leave, said Izuku. After he said that he took the 4 plates and 1 bowl that were used. 5 minutes later. Okay do you need to take anything to your agency or to Ua? Asked Izuku. I just need the clothes that I had brought with me, said Ryukyu. Okay I will go and get them because I washed them with the bed sheets and the clothes there, said Izuku. After he said that, he went to get Ryukyu's clothes she had. Few minutes later Izuku came back with her clothes in one of his bags. Here you go, dragon, said Izuku. After he said that he gave Ryukyu the bag and then they headed to Izuku's car. 30 minutes later they all arrived at the Ryukyu agency. Here we are dragon. Do you need some help? Asked Izuku. No, I'm just fine, Izu. Thank you for giving me a ride to my agency, said Ryukyu. After she said that, she gave Izuku a kiss on his cheek. Hey dragon do you have my number just in case if you know? Asked Izuku. Yes I have your number but if I do not I have Nejire's number. So if I cannot get in contact with you I will contact Nejire, said Ryukyu. Okay let's get going before we are late for class, said Izuku, after he said that he started to drive to Ua. 40 minutes later. Well, it seems like we just made it in time, said Izuku, after he said that he went to park his car in the parking lot. Once Izuku did that they got out of Izuku's car and headed Ua. 5 minutes later they arrived at Eri's classroom. See you at lunch Snowflake, said Izuku, after he said that he gave her a kiss on the forehead. Then he opened the door for the class.
See you at lunch Snowflake, said Nejire, after she said that she gave Eri a kiss on the forehead as well.
Yep see you at lunch Mama and Daddy, said Eri, after she said that she took the leash of Rose from Izuku. Once she did that she entered the classroom. After she did that Izuku and Nejire headed to their class. Hey Zuzu, are you excited for the UA school festival that is going to happen this Friday? Asked Nejire. Well I think that I will learn about it today then decide on what my class is going to do for it. But I'm sure that I'm ready for it. Do you know what you are going to do for your part? Asked Izuku. Yes I do know what I'm doing for the festival. I'm going to be a part of the beauty pageant and I hope that I win this year, said Nejire, after she said that they reached Nejire's class. See you at lunch Zuzu, said Nejire. See you at lunch Koala, said Izuku, after he said that he was about to leave, he was stopped by Nejire. Once he stopped Nejire gave him a kiss on the lips. After Nejire did that she entered her classroom. Few minutes later Izuku got to his class and entered the room. Once he entered the room it was complete chaos. Hey Hobo what is happening? Asked Izuku. They are arguing about what you are going to be doing for the UA school festival, said Aizawa. I know how to stop this, said Izuku, after he said that he released some of his Ki that had shut up nearly instantly and they all looked at the front of the class. Okay now that all of you are quiet we will decide what we are going to do. Give about 5 options then we will vote for the one we will do for the festival. I have one option that I will put up on the board but there will still be 5 more that you need to, said Izuku after he said that he turned around and wrote concert on the board. After Izuku had written his idea on the board he turned around and was ready to take any other options. A few minutes later no one had said anything. Well it seems like we are going to be doing a concert now we just need to decide what song we are going to do. Hey Jiro, can you think of a song that we can do for the concert? Because we are going to need to do something that will make everyone in Ua not mad at us, said Izuku. I do not have an idea for a song right now but I will think of one. But may I know why you chose me to think of a song and why do we need to make everyone in Ua not mad at us? Asked Jiro. Well you are the only one that I could think of besides me who knows a lot of different songs. But I would say that you listen to better music than I do. Because some of my songs and music are not that school appropriate. The reason we are going to need to make the student of Ua mainly because they are angry at class 1A. Before you all interrupted me I will let you know why the students of Ua are mad at us. We have been in the center of all of the attacks on UA, said Izuku. After he said that, everyone understood why he said that. Hey Hobo we have what we are going to do for the festival, said Izuku. After he said that, he gave Aizawa a kick to his side. Fuck you damn brat, said Aizawa, after he said that he got out of his sleeping bag and stood up. Okay now that you have chosen what you are doing for the festival you can leave to your dorm building and plan out how you are going to do your concert, said Aizawa. Okay I will go there but first I need to move my car to the dorm building and park it in my workstation, said Izuku as he left the classroom. Hey Iken can I go with you and see what car you got? Asked Kusimi. Sure you can Kusimi. I do not mind you joining me, said Izuku, after he said that they headed to the parking lot. Few minutes after they had got to the parking lot they got to Izuku's car. This is my car, Kusimi. Do you know who to drive it? Asked Izuku. Not really but I'm learning who to drive, said Kusimi. Do you want to drive to the dorm building? Asked Izuku. Sure I would like to try and drive your car, Iken, said Kusimi. Okay get on the driver's side. That is on the right side of this car, not the left side, said Izuku. Okay but do I not need the car keys? Asked Kusimi. No you do not because this car is a push start not a key start. But you will need one thing because I added something so it is harder to get stolen, said Izuku. After he said that he entered the passenger side and Kusimi entered the driver's side. Once they got in, Izuku leaned over and used a key fob and put it a few inches below the push start. "No, you can start it," said Izuku. "Okay Iken, I will do that. But how do I put it in gear and turn on the car?" asked Kusimi. "You see the third pedal on the left? You need to push that pedal and the brake in at the same time and press the start button. Once you have started the car, you will need to take your foot off the brake and then you will move the stick into first gear. After you have done that, slowly let go of the clutch and you can start heading forwards," said Izuku. "Okay, I will do that Iken," said Kusimi. After she said that, she did what Izuku said. 20 minutes later they got to the 1A dorms. "You can park it here and I will park it in my workplace," said Izuku. After he said that, he got out of the car and headed to the driver's side, and Kusimi had got out of the car, then she headed into the dorm building. Once she had left, Izuku hopped in the driver's seat and drove to his workplace. After Izuku parked it in his workplace, he headed to the dorm building. Once Izuku entered the dorm building. "So what have we planned on doing for the concert?" asked Izuku. "Well, I have decided what song that we can do for the festival," said Jiro. "Okay, what is the song, Jiro?" asked Izuku. "The song that I chose was Hero 2, said Jiro. Why not, but has anyone else came up with a different song?" asked Izuku. After he said that no one had suggested a different song. "Okay, we will use that song, but now we just need to decide who will be doing what part," said Izuku. "What do you mean by who will do what part, Izuku?" asked Momo. "Well, we need to decide who will be a part of the band and the other parts that we come up with, Momo," said Izuku. "I think that we should have some people to dance and some people to do special effects. So the effects, I would say that Shoto should be a part of it, and I think that Jiro should be a part of the band." "Hey Kusimi, do you still know how to play the drums?" asked Izuku. "Yes, I do still know how to play the drums, Iken." "Why do you want to know, Iken?" asked Kusimi. "Well, I asked that because you are going to be the drummer." "Hey Jiro, do you mind being the singer?" asked Izuku. "No, I do not mind being the singer," said Jiro. "Okay, who knows how to dance?" asked Izuku. "I know how to dance, Izuku. But why do you want to know that?" asked Mina. "Well, we are going to need some dancers for the entertainment besides the singers," said Izuku. After he said that, they started to plan who was going to do what. 4 days later, the day of the UA school festival. "Hey, can someone go and get some rope? Because the rope we have is all frayed," asked Jiro. "I can go and get the rope," said Ida. After he said that, he was about to leave but was stopped by Kusimi. "Four Eyes, you do not need to go and get some rope because Iken is out. I can just ask him to go and get some while he is out," said Kusimi. After she said that, she grabbed her phone and sent Izuku a text to Izuku. Few minutes later, Izuku responded to her. "Iken said that he will go and get the rope," said Kusimi. 30 minutes later, in the forest near Uwa, the same place Izuku had defeated Gentle and La Brava in canon. "Go and head to Uwa before it is too late. Also go and see Recovery Girl so you can get your nose fixed," said Ectoplasm. "Okay, I will be leaving, but I do not need to go to Recovery Girl. I can just use my quirk and have it heal me. At least I just need to activate it but deactivate my cuffs that I'm wearing," said Izuku. After he said that, he deactivated the cuffs he was wearing. Once he did that, his nose was fixed and he ran off to the entries of Uwa and met up with Yuga. "You just made it in time. Here is your outfit for the contest," said Yuga. "Thank you for it. Let's get going before we get late," said Izuku as he took the clothes from Yuga. After he said that, the two ran to where the rest of 1A was. Once they got to where 1A was, Izuku toasted the rope to Shoto. "Hey, I see hot catch. I'm going to change before we need to start," said Izuku. The festival went the same as in canon, but you just replaced Mirio with Yu during the 1A concert. After the 1A concert. "Hey Izuku, can you take Eri because I need to go and see if Nejire needs help?" asked Yu. "Yes, I can. We will be there as soon as we can, Yu," said Izuku as he was taking Eri from Yu. "Okay, see you two there. I hope that Ichigo has not fucked things up since I left him with her," said Yu. The festival went the same thing happened during canon. "How did you like that festival, Snowflake?" asked Izuku. "I really loved it," said Eri. "What was your favorite part of it?" asked a voice to their side. After the voice said that, the two turned their heads to see who said that. Once they did that, they saw that it was Nejire floating by them. Well, I really loved what Daddy's class did, but I also loved what you did, Mama. So thoughts are my favorite parts," said Eri. "Well, do you want to stay with me while I help clean up, or do you want to with Koala?" asked Izuku. "I want to go with Mama, but what are we going to do?" asked Eri. "We can go and see what the other students have done," said Nejire. After she said that, Izuku put Eri on the floor so Eri could go with Nejire. "Okay, I will join you after we are done cleaning up," said Izuku. After he said that, he headed to help 1A with the cleanup. Eri and Nejire started to look around the Uwa festival. The rest of the day passed and the day was not very eventful. The only thing that was really interesting was that Izuku, Nejire, and Eri had passed a booth that was made by a second year, which was a wedding booth. When they passed it, Nejire and Izuku were stopped. After they were stopped, they had a fake wedding. "Well, that was an interesting, Koala and Snowflake," said Izuku. "You were right, Zuzu, Daddy," said Eri and Nejire at the same time. Few days had passed and the pro hero ranking was going to happen since All Might had retired. The hero billboard charts and the Endeavor and Hawks versus High End went the same as in canon. The class 1A Chan and Saniter went the same, but Izuku was not in class. So the alarm went mostly the same, but it also said that there was also a student that had been kidnapped. In the event, Izuku had replaced Miro because he was still in the hospital. So when Izuku was saved from a boat he was on, when he was on the broken bridge, he had fallen backwards off the bridge. A few more days had passed and it was the day of joint training battle in class 1A. Okay, today you all are going to be doing some joint training with Class 1B. So get up and put your hero costumes on, said Ivaza. After he said that, 1A had got up and took their hero costumes. Then they headed to the changing rooms. Once they had changed, they headed to Ground Gamma. At Ground Gamma. Okay, you all are going to be split up into 5 groups of 4 people, said Aizawa. After he said that Class 1B had arrived at Ground Gamma. The team are going to be. They're the same, but Kirishima was in round 5 and Shinso was just in round 1 and is on Class 1A's team. The first 4 matches were the same as in canon. Okay, round 4 is going to end in 5 minutes. So if the round 5 teams have not started planning, do so, said Aizawa. With Izuku, Kirishima, Mina, and Ochako. Okay, we need a plan, said Izuku. Do you have a plan, Izuku? Asked Mina. Yes, I do, but can any of you think of a plan? Asked Izuku. After he asked that, no one came up with a plan. Okay, Kirishima, you are going to be the defender for Mina and Ochako. I will be heading ahead and try to take care of Monoma. Is that good with everyone? Asked Izuku. May we know why you are going to go ahead and try to take care of Monoma? Asked Ochako.
Well, Monoma can have practically any 3 quirks from his class. But he will most likely have 2 of his quirks from 2 of his teammates and have the last one for a quirk like mine, said Izuku.
Why do you think that he will want to have your quirk in his arsenal? Asked Mina. If he gets my quirk and if his quirk works how I think it will, he will just want an opportunity with my quirk. Because if I'm right, he cannot copy a quirk that is a stockpiling quirk. So he will have the capability to have some strength. But he will not have much time to stockpile much strength, said Izuku. After he said that the planning time was over. Okay, can the 2 teams that are going to fight head to their positions, said Vlad. On 1A's side. Okay, get ready to put the plan in action, said Izuku. Start, said Vlad through the speakers. After he said, the Izuku shot off and started to look for Monoma. While Izuku was doing that, Izuku had taken care of any projectiles that were sent his way with his swords. It only took a few minutes to find Monoma. Well, looks like my plan is going just as planned, said Izuku. What do you mean? Asked Monoma. Well, I know that you would have come after me so you could copy my quirk and have 2 of your quirk spots already used, said Izuku. So I just need to take care of you and then take you to jail. Then I will go and help my team, by flanking them from behind, said Izuku. After he said that, he sheathed his swords and they shot off to attack Monoma. It only took about a minute for Izuku to defeat Monoma. You should really learn some martial arts, said Izuku. After he said that, after he had tied up Monoma. Once Izuku was done tying up Monoma, he took him to the jail box. After he was done doing that, he headed to flank the rest of the team of 1B. After he did that, the match did not last much longer before Izuku and his team won. Round 5 is over and 1A has won the round and the Class 1A has won the joint training battles, said Vlad. After he said that he and Class B had left, but before they could go very far they were stopped. Hey Class B, I have a suggestion for some of you, said Izuku. Okay, how do you have the suggestions for boy? Asked Vlad. Well, swords, telekinesis, metal, animal, welder, and horns. They are the ones that I have suggestions for. I will point to them in case you cannot figure out how you are, said Izuku. After he said that, he pointed at Pani, Tetsu, Yanagi, Yosedu, Tagaru, and Jiroda. Had one for Monoma, but I already gave it to him. This is for welder, metal, horns, and telekinesis. But I still have another one for you, telekinesis. I suggest you all to learn some sort of fighting style. The other one for you, telekinesis, I suggest you to use something like big rock and go smaller like sand for control. But you can also use your telekinesis to write your notes for class. Now for your turn, swords, I suggest you to learn a sword style and you can come to me if you need some help, said Izuku. Thank you for your suggestions you had for my class, said Vlad. Hey Izuku, right? Asked Tagaru. Yes, you are right, said Izuku. Where could I find you if I need your help figuring out or learning or practicing the sword style I'm going to learn? Asked Tagaru. Well, I should be in the building behind the Class A's dorm building, or I will be in the 3rd year's dorm building with my girlfriend, said Izuku. After he said that, Class B started to leave. 3 weeks later, the day of the hero interview training, it went the same for all of the interviews up to Izuku. He did not freeze up and struggled with it. He did his interview with Mount late. After the interview training was done, Class A had left, and once Class A had been done the training, Class B had done the training as well. But before Izuku could enter Class A's dorm building, he was stopped by All Might. Young Izuku, can I take to you in my office? Asked All Might. Sure, you can come on, Koala and Snowflake, let's go and talk with All Might, said Izuku. Can I just talk with you alone? Asked All Might. Okay, you can, All Might. Hey, can you stay with Koala, Snowflake? Asked Izuku. After he asked that, he took Eri off of his shoulders. Yes, I can, Daddy, said Eri. After she said that, she left with Nejire. Okay, let's get going, All Might, said Izuku. 20 minutes later they got to All Might's office. So what do you need? Asked Izuku. Well, me and Mirio wanted to ask you something, said All Might. What do you and Tintin want to ask me? Asked Izuku. Well, do you know what my quirk is? Asked All Might. Yes, I already know about your quirk. Because I was raised by someone who was the friend of the 7th user and the student of the fight user. I have a guess on what you are going to ask me, but I will say quiet for now, said Izuku. Well, there are 2 questions that we have, but one will not be asked if you can do the first one. The first question is, can you use your technology that will let Mirio be a hero again? Asked All Might. Well, I cannot use my technology that will let Tintin be a hero again. But I can use my nanotech to give him new organisms that he has lost, but that will not let me be a hero again. But if I do that, he will not have a hard life. May I know what the other question you have? Asked Izuku. May I know how you have that robotic arm? Asked Mirio. Well, I have the information Shiro Emiya had used to make the first robotic arm. I have just been adding the new information that I have gained over the years and have put it into the new arms that I had made, said Izuku. Okay, the second question that we have is, are you willing to take OFA? Asked All Might. Well, if I do, I will not listen to how you want me to use and train with it. I will let you know of anything new that I find about OFA. But I have an assumption on how OFA works, said Izuku. That sounds good with us, said All Might. But may we know how you think OFA works? Asked Mirio. How do you know how OFA works? Asked Izuku. Well, it is a quirk that stockpiles the power of the previous users, said All Might. Is that all you know about how OFA works? Asked Izuku. Yes, that is all we know about how OFA works, said Mirio. After he said that, Izuku gave out a heavy breath. Do you think you know OFA works better than the current user and the last user? Asked Mirio with a mocking tone in his voice. Well, I know that you are right that OFA does stockpiles the power of the previous users. But you are wrong about how OFA works because it also stockpiles more than just the power of the previous users. There is a big chance that it also stockpiles the previous users' quirks as well. I will let you know if that theory that me and Emiya both had, said Izuku. Well, that is shocking here, said All Might. So how will this go? Asked Izuku. Well, you will need to take in some of my DNA, said Mirio. How about this, you will give me about an hour to figure out how to do it and make a way where I do not need to swallow a piece of your hair or some of your blood. Because I do not want to do that, said Izuku. After he said that he was about to leave, he was stopped. Where are you going to be? Asked All Might. I should be in my workshop if I have not finished making what I'm going to make. But if I have, I should be in the common room, said Izuku. After he said that he had left and headed to his workshop and started making what he wanted to make, so he did not want to eat or drink some of Mirio's blood or hair. An hour had passed. Hey Izuku, All Might and Mirio are looking for you, said Kaminari. Okay, let them know that I will meet them in my workshop, said Izuku. Okay, I will do so, Izuku, said Kaminari. Few minutes later in Izuku's workshop. Okay, do you want to use hair or blood? Asked Izuku. I will do blood, said Mirio. Okay, put your hand over that cup and I will cut it, said Izuku. After he said that Mirio had put his only hand he had left over the cup and Izuku had cut Mirio's hand. You can remove your hand and there are some bandages on your left, said Izuku. Okay, thank you for letting me know that, said Mirio. Few minutes had passed and the machine was done doing what it was doing. What did the machine do? Asked All Might. It covered that blood into straight DNA and then put it into whatever I wanted it to make. I had it put in a granola bar. Now I just need to eat it, said Izuku. After he said that he ate the granola bar with the DNA of Mirio. Okay, how long should it take for OFA to be transferred over? Asked Izuku. It should take maybe about an hour or two, said All Might. Okay, I will let you know if I get it in an hour or two, said Izuku. A few hours had passed since Izuku got OFA. Hey Koala, do you want to come with me and see how OFA affected my quirk? Asked Izuku. Sure, I can go with you. But can Snowflake come with? Asked Nejire. Sure she can, but that is if she wants to, said Izuku. After he said that they headed to see if Eri wanted to come with them. Once they did that, Eri had joined Izuku and Nejire. They headed to a training room after they got Recovery Girl just in case she was needed. They also got All Might and Mirio. I'm going to start with trying to first activate it. But since my quirk is one that is on all the time, it should be activated when I deactivate quirk canceling cuffs, said Izuku. Once he did that, there was a massive shockwave of power and a massive amount of green lightning around them. Well shit, my quirk is about 10 times stronger than it was before now, thought Izuku. Hey Izuku, how much of your quirk are you using? Asked Nezu. Well, I'm using what would have been about 10% of the power of my quirk before I got OFA. So I would say it is about 10 times stronger, so I would be about 100% of my old quirk, said Izuku. After he said that there was some sort of black-looking liquid covering his right and left arms and legs. What the fuck is this shit? Said Izuku. After he said that the black-looking liquid made some spikes and whip-like things strike around him. Once that happened, Nejire had got one of the quirk-canceling cuffs she had and flew to Izuku to put it on him. When Nejire did that, the black-looking liquid had received back into Izuku's body. What the fuck was that, Zuzu? Asked Nejire, after she said that she did not get a response from Izuku. Once she tested that, she looked at Izuku and saw that his eyes were glazed over. I wonder what is happening to Zuzu, said Nejire. After she said that, she activated the quirk-canceling cuffs Izuku had on him and then took the one she put on him. Once she did that, she laid Izuku down on her lap. With Izuku in his mindscape. I wonder what this place is, thought Izuku. After he had thought that there was something that appeared in front of him and to the side of him. It seems like I'm having some memories or a vision that one of the past users had, thought Izuku. The vision was the second one Izuku had. The one that shows how OFA was made. I'm assuming that this is how OFA was made, thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that, a few minutes had passed and the vision stopped. Well, seems like you are ready for more, but OFA has been cancelled before you could see more, said a male voice. After he said that there were 3 fingers that Izuku could see fully. The fingers were 2 males and 1 female. Hello 10th, I'm the first user. To my right is the 7th user and to my left is the 5th user of OFA. He is also the one that you had just unlocked the quirk of, said the first user of OFA. Okay, I understand that, but may I know what your name and the 5th user's names are? May I also know what the quirk I just unlocked is called and why I unlocked it? I already know the name of the 7th users, said Izuku with a very muffled voice. Well, my name is Yoichi Shigaraki. I will let Fifth let you know his name and what his quirk is called, said Yoichi. After he said that, Izuku shook his head in understanding. My name is Daigoro Banjo and the quirk you had just unlocked is called Black Whip. It is a top-tier quirk for capturing people and transporting yourself and people. The reason you have unlocked my quirk is because your body can handle enough of OFA to start unlocking the perverse user's quirks, I think, said Banjo. After he said that, Yoichi nodded his head yes, that he was right. But I will let you know that your quirk and OFA have fully fused and it is about 5 times stronger than what it was supposed to be when you got it, said Yoichi. Okay, thank you for letting me know that first, said Izuku with his muffled voice. May I know how you know how I am? Asked the female figure. Well, I'm the adopted son of Emiya, so that is how I know you and the 6th user's names and what your quirks are. Now I just need to find out what the others' quirks are, then I will just need to be ready for their quirks. I also wonder when I'm going to unlock them and what order I will get them in. I also wonder what I can do with Black Whip. Your name is Nana Shimura, said Izuku with his muffled voice. Well, we do not know what order you will get the past user's quirks in, but we think that you will get Nana's quirk next. But we are not sure if you will get it next for sure, said Yoichi. Okay, I will be ready for anything to happen, said Izuku with his muffled voice. Hey, I have a question about how my quirk and how it and OFA had fused. After he said that, he started to disappear. What do you want to know about OFA and your quirk fused together? It seems like you're waking up now, said Nana. Well, I want to know if I still have my quirk or have the two fully fused since they were so similar, asked Izuku. I'm pretty sure that you still have your quirk, but OFA and your quirk had fused halfway. But it may eventually fully fuse. Even when that happens, you will still have control over if you want the next user to have your quirk or they need to unlock it, said Nana. After she said that, Izuku had fully disappeared. Outside of Izuku's mindscape. What the fuck hit me? Asked Izuku. You're awake, Zuzu, said Nejire. Yes, I'm awake, Koala, but my body hurts like a damn bitch, said Izuku. Let me see if I can heal you, brat, said Recovery Girl. After she said that, she used her quirk and started to heal Izuku. That feel a fucktone better, said Izuku. What happened to you and what was that black liquid that covered your arms and legs? Asked Nejire. Well, that as you call it, black liquid that covered my arms and legs was the quirk of the 5th user of OFA. I will also eventually unlock all of the past users' quirks as well. But I do not know when and what quirk I will unlock next. That quirk is called Black Whip, said Izuku. Okay, you are going to need to find out what the past users' quirks are and prepare for whatever quirk you'll get, said Nezu. Yes, I will need to do that, rat. But I do not need to find out what the 6th and 7th users' quirks are. Because the 7th user of OFA was Nana Shimura and her quirk was Float. The 6th user was N and his quirk was Smokescreen. Then there is the 5th user Daigoro Banjo and his quirk was Black Whip. There is also the 1st user Yoichi Shigaraki and his quirk was the capability to pass a quirk on to someone else. Then he was given a stock-pilling quirk by his brother, which his name has been forgotten through time, but he is now known as AFO. Once AFO had given the stock-pilling quirk, he had unknowingly made OFA. I just need to figure out what the 2nd, 3rd, and the 4th user's quirks are, said Izuku. Well, you also know what the quirk of the 8th and the 9th user's quirks are. Or at least the 9th user's quirk is, said Nejire. What is that supposed to mean? Mirio asked, practically yelling that out. Well, All Might is the 8th user of OFA and he does not have a quirk, so I do not need to find out what his quirk is, Tintin, said Izuku in a mocking voice. After he said that, he, Nejire, and Eri had left and headed to the 1-8's dorms. The next day in Izuku's room. Hey Zuzu, do you have a plan and who you are going to be doing the work studies with? Asked Nejire. Well, me and Kasimi were asked to go with Ice Hot to the Endeavor Agency, so we are going to be going with him. I'm just going because I know that if I do not go with them they will surely fight. I also need to get better with the new speed and strength that I have now, said Izuku. Why do you need to go to make sure that Shoto and Kasimi do not fight? Asked Nejire. Well, they do not like each other, so they will most likely be at each other's thoughts. In my opinion, they acted like an old married couple, said Izuku. Why do you say that, Zuzu? Asked Nejire. Well, most of the time that Ice Hot and Kasimi are in the same room they are nearly bickering with each other. The only two that can make the two stop from fighting are me and Hobo, said Izuku. Maybe they have a crush on each other, said Nejire. Well, that cannot be true, because I know that Kasimi and Kirishima have been dating for about 2 or so months. Then there is Ice Hot. I don't even know if he likes anyone or if he even likes girls, said Izuku. How do you know that Kasimi and Kirishima are together, Zuzu? Asked Nejire. Well, Kasimi had told me once we had caught up on the years. We have not seen each other, said Izuku. Oh, that makes sense on how you know that, Zuzu, said Nejire. I think that we should get ready for the day, so we can be ready to leave when we need to leave, said Izuku. After he said that, he and Nejire got up. Once they were done getting ready for the day, Izuku headed to the kitchen and Nejire headed to wake up Eri. In the kitchen, Izuku started to make enough food for him, Nejire, Eri and the rest of 1A to have breakfast. 20 minutes later, you can take your plate that has your food. I will be waking the rest of 1A up, said Izuku. After he said that, went to the wall with a set of controls and he pressed a button that had an alarm signal on it. Once he pressed it, he let the alarm go for about 5 minutes and then he pressed it again to stop it. Okay, that should get them up and coming down soon, said Izuku. A few minutes had passed since Izuku pressed the alarm button. What is happening and why did the alarm go off? Asked Ida with a panicked voice. Well, I was too lazy to go to each of your rooms and wake all of you up, so you can come down and have breakfast before we have to leave for round 2 of work studies, said Izuku. You lazy fucking bastard, yelled out Kasumi. After she yelled that out, she launched at Izuku to try and kill him. But before she could land an attack on Izuku, he put some food into her mouth and that stopped her in her tracks. That takes cars of her. You all can eat some of the food, said Izuku. Hey hobo, do you want some coffee? Asked Izuku. Yes, I would like some, problem child, said Aizawa. After he said that, Izuku took a metal cup with some coffee in it and took one for himself. There you go hobo, if you want to eat some food there is some left, said Izuku. 20 minutes later everyone was done eating. Okay, everyone get your briefcase with your hero costume in them, said Aizawa. After he said that, everyone in 1A went to get their hero costume. Once they headed to get their costume, they headed to the work studies they're going to be going to the second work studies with. The start went the same as in canon up to the point when Star Servant attacked. Izuku was just right behind Endeavor. The events went the same as in canon for the most part of the work studies, besides Izuku was either just behind Endeavor or right besides him. The day that Izuku, Bakugo, Shoto, and Endeavor went to the Todoroki house. The dinner went nearly the same, but Izuku had been more conversations with Fuyumi about how being at UA and how it is to go to school with Shoto. After the dinner was over and the cleanup was done, the start of the fight between the Endeavor agency and Ending. Ice Hot, you are going to need to be ready to capture Ending. Kasumi, I need you to fly over Ending and use your stun grenade to blind him. Once Kasumi does that, you are going to need to capture Ending, said Izuku. What are you going to do while we do that, Iken? Asked Kasumi. Well, I'm going to be the first distraction by shooting past him. Then I will be making sure that no one will get in the way or get hurt. I will also be trying to get Natsuo before he gets hurt, said Izuku. After he said that, he shot off and went past Ending. When Izuku had shot past Ending, he was distracted by Izuku. Once Ending tried to see what shot past him, he did not see Kasumi flying to him and was about to use her stun grenade. After Kasumi did that, she flew off to the side so Shoto could capture Ending. Izuku had used Black Whip to stop any car that was about to get in the fighting area. Once he was done doing that, he shot off to get Natsuo from getting hit by the train that was coming towards him. Are you okay, Natsuo? Asked Izuku. After he asked that, Endeavor went over and hugged him. The events went the same as canon. The day after, the Endeavor agency had finished at the 1A's dorms and Izuku's dorm room. Hey Zuzu, may I know how did your mission on Naboo Island went? Asked Nejire. Well, let's first see if Snowflake wants to know how it went as well, said Izuku. After he said that, he got up and went to see if Eri was up and wanted to see how his mission on Naboo Island went. Once he did that, he came back carrying Eri in his arms. Okay, the first few days we were on Naboo Island, all we did was mainly just chores around the island. It was, I think, the beginning of the second week of 1A being on Naboo Island is when it started to get interesting, said Izuku. What happened, Daddy? Asked Eri. Yes, what happened, Zuzu? Asked Nejire. How about we go and get some breakfast? Said Izuku. After he said that, they all went and got breakfast. While Izuku was making breakfast, Izuku continued the story of Naboo Island. So what was so interesting that happened on Naboo, Zuzu? Asked Nejire. Well, there was an attack by a group of villains. I do not think that the group of villains had a name. But I know that the lead villain's name was Nine. I know that he was an experiment on by the scientist and was given a version of AFO, but he could only use it to take about 8 more quirks. He was on Naboo Island for the quirk of a little kid. The kid's quirk was, I think, cell activation. The reason he wanted the kid's quirk was because his original quirk side effect was that his quirk was destroying his cells, I think. His quirk had something to do with weather manipulation, said Izuku. After he said that, he took the food off of the stove and put it on the table. Let's eat before I finish the story, said Izuku. Okay, that sounds good with us, Zuzu, Daddy, said Nejire and Eri at the same time. After they said that, they ate breakfast. Once they had finished breakfast. Okay, we are done eating. Do you want to finish this story down here or back in my room? Asked Izuku. We can go back to your room, Daddy, said Eri. Okay, Snowflake, let's go and do that, said Nejire and Izuku at the same time. After they said that, they headed to Izuku's room. Once they got to Izuku's room, Izuku turned on the TV, so there was some noise in the background. Okay, now that we are back here, I can continue the story, said Izuku. Okay, now how to start up again. Oh, I know how to get back in the story. The first people that had fought Nine was me, then it was Kasumi. After the sibling of the one with the cell activation, she used her quirk to make a giant version of me, which let everyone know what was happening. It took her a few minutes to get there. Once she got there, she used her quirk on him. After she did that, Nine used one of the other quirks he had, which made air walls. He had blocked Kasumi's attack. After he did that, he used another of his quirk to land an attack that slammed the two of us into the ground. The two of us were hurt badly, but we still had enough energy to try and stop him. We grabbed each of his ankles. After we did that, he used another of his that let him summon lighting and he landed it on use. But after he did that, the side effect of his quirk usage. Once that happened to him, he had collapsed to the ground. When he had collapsed to the ground, one of his teammates got there and was going to leave. But before they did leave, Nine wanted his teammate to get the boy with the quirk he needed. But some of 1A had got there. I do not know what happened after we got struck by the lightning. Both me and Kasumi had passed out because of pain and exhaustion. The two for use were out for the rest of the day and about halfway through the night, said Izuku. Daddy, what did you plan on doing with the other people on Naboo Island? Asked Eri. Well, once me and Kasumi had awakened, I got to the planning room first. Once I had got there, I had waited a little to hear if there were any plans getting made, and I also stopped Kasumi from coming in the room so he could hear what they were planning. After a few minutes of us overhearing them not figuring out a plan, I was about to step in. But before I could, the kid with the cell activation had stepped up and told them to just hand him over, said Izuku. Zuzu, what is the kid's name with the cell activation quirk? Asked Nejire. I think his name was Katsuma, said Izuku. I truly do not remember what his name was. After Katsuma had said that, I had entered the room and stopped him. He said the same thing as in the movie, it went the same as in canon. So they went to Mount Shiroyama and had the civilians in the cave with Koji, Rikido, Toru and Shinso. Shoto, Kirishima, Asui, and Ida had fought Chimera. Izuku, Kasimi, Momo, Jiro, Denki, Ojiro, Yuga, Ochako, Hanta, and Mezzo had fought 9. Mina and Fumikage had fought Slice. Izuku had given Ochako and Hanta something sticky to hold the rocks together. Because Mineta was not in 1A since he had gotten kicked out of 1A. So Shinso would replace Mineta in any place where Mineta were a part of. After we had split up who was going to fight who and had moved the civilians in the safe area. We just waited for 9 and his last 2 partners, said Izuku. What do you mean by 9 and his last 2 partners, Zuzu? Asked Nejire. Well, according to some other members of 1A there were 3 people who came with 9. I do not know. But I know that Momo asked me for one of my cuffs that I had with me. The third person with 9 was taken out by Kasimi and I'm surprised that he did not get killed, said Izuku. Why are you surprised that he did not get killed, Daddy? Asked Eri. Will you know that Kasimi has a bad temper, Snowflake? Asked Izuku. Yes, I know that, Daddy. But is she not getting better at controlling you, Daddy? Asked Eri. Yes, she is, but she still has outbursts of uncontrollable anger. She used one of her gentlest, which was nearly completely filled with her sweat, and she used it on him at point blank. His name was, I think, Mommy. I do not remember what was said about 9's teammates. I really do not know what happened with Slice and Chimera. They went the same as in canon for the 2 fights, but I will let you know how the fight with me, Kasimi, Momo, Jiro, Denki, Ojiro, Yuga, Ochako, Hanta, and Mezzo went against 9. The start of the fight went the same as in canon. After 9 had gotten past everyone else to the point where the only ones who were left were me, Kasimi, and Mezzo. Me and Kasimi had shot off to attack 9 after he got there. I saw that Ochako was flying through the air, so I decided to catch her so she did not get hurt when she hit the ground. But after I had caught her, Kasimi had hit me, so I did not get hit by one of 9's attacks and she insulted me as well. Me and Kasimi had to make sure that 9 did not get to Mezzo in his 2 charges. The fight went the same as in canon from the rest of it. But Kasimi did not get OFA like Bakugo did in canon. Izuku used one of the parts of his quirk that let him share the power of his quirk. Think of Ban's gift ability from 7 Deadly Sins. He gave Kasimi about half of his power he had, but the power did not stay in Kasimi, it had come back to Izuku. The 2 looked the same as they did. So Izuku had green lightning and Kasimi had gold looking like lightning around her. After we had finished 9 we had passed out, so I could not say what happened after we passed out, said Izuku. 2 weeks later. The world's hero mission had finished and went basically the same as it did as in canon. But Izuku did not struggle as much as he did with Fleck Turn in canon. Hey Zuzu, how is it being a wanted person for about a week? Asked Nejire. Well, I have been a wanted person about 5 or so other times before, said Izuku. Really, you have been a wanted person that many times before, Daddy? Asked Eri. Yes, I have, and there has not been much of a difference. The only time that I had a hard time was the first, because there was only one person who had experience of being a wanted person before, and that was only her second time being wanted. So we struggled and almost got caught many times, but I had some training in avoiding people because of my father. So the only reason we survived and escaped the feds was because of me. But being a wanted person was not that hard to avoid the corrupt cops and the other cops that were doing their job. 3 weeks later, a few days before the Paranormal Liberation War. Over the 3 weeks everyone was doing work studies and practicing with their quirks. Izuku had been doing work studies with both Endeavor and Ryukyu agencies. The reason he did that was because he wanted practice with the new strength he has and so he could make sure that Shoto and Kasimi do not kill each other. But Izuku is planning to do his work studies with Ryukyu, Rumi after he can stop Shoto and Kasimi from fighting. Because Ryukyu and Rumi share an agency. Because Rumi is too lazy to get one and she doesn't like staying in one place. In Nejire's dorm room. Hey Zuzu, how did you reach when Ryukyu told you that she was pregnant? Asked Nejire. Well, I was surprised when she told me that she was pregnant. But at the same time I was not really that surprised that she got pregnant. Because I was pretty sure that she was not using any sort of protection. Plus that day there were a lot of hormones in the air like lust and the smell of sex in the air as well. The main time I was surprised was when she laid an egg. But it also made some sense because she was in her dragon form. I was also surprised that the egg had both of our hair colors. Or at least the hair color that I used to have before it turned white, said Izuku. Yep, that was surprising when she laid an egg. I wonder if that egg will be a boy or a girl, and I also wonder how it will take after more. Or if it will take after both of you too. Now that I have been thinking about what your and Ryukyu's kid is going to look like. I wonder what a kid between you and me, Zuzu. I also wonder what quirk your and Ryukyu kid is going to have and what quirk our kid would have, said Nejire. I think that my and Ryukyu's kid would probably have a stronger version of Ryukyu's quirk. Or there is a chance that the kid will have both of our quirks. Maybe the kid will have some dragon features and have my strength enhancer quirk. But with our kid, when we have a kid, I think it will have either my or a stronger version of your quirk. Other than that I cannot think of a quirk that our kid would have. There is a chance that either our kid or mine and Ryukyu's kid would have a quirk that is related to one of my parents or one of your or Ryukyu's parents, said Izuku. Now that you say that, what kind of quirks do your parents have? Asked Nejire. Well, my mother has weak telekinesis. Then my father has fire breath. Then there are my two aunts and they both have very strong telekinesis and they are Fubuki and Tamaki. Or you may know them better as Tornado of Terror and Blizzard of Hell, said Izuku. What you are related to Tornado and Blizzard, said Nejire. Yep I am, but I have not seen them since I was around 3 years old I think. I do not remember the last time I saw them. But the last time I talked to them or at least Blizzard was after the UA Sports Festival, said Izuku. What did you talk about with Blizzard Zuzu? Asked Nejire. Well, she wanted me to do the first work studies with her, said Izuku, 1 month later the day of the Paranormal Liberation War. The teams are the same as they were in canon. I wonder when we are going to start our part of this fight, said Izuku. We are going to be starting in a little bit, so get off of your ass, said Burnin, after she attempted to kick Izuku in his side. I will hop up once our part is going to start, said Izuku, few minutes later. Okay, we are going to be starting our part of this fight, said Burnin, after she said that everyone got ready to leave and then headed to the nearest town so they could get out anyone there. Izuku had just fallen down the cliff and used the momentum of him falling off of the cliff. 20 minutes had passed since the Izuku and the other hero students and the sidekicks had got to the town of Jakku. I wonder if and when I'm going to fight Shigaraki. Or will it be AFO how I will need to fight? At least if I need to fight Shigaraki or AFO in Shigaraki's body. Thought Izuku. After another few minutes later of everyone clearing out the Jakku town, the fight at Gunja Mountain and the fight at Jakku General Hospital went the same as I canon. He's coming, said a voice in Izuku's head. This voice, thought Izuku. Izuku had a vision of the first user of OFA in a void-like space. The backlash is coming, said the first user of OFA, and Izuku started to turn around to look at Jakku Hospital. Someone transcendent is coming, said the first user of OFA. The same thing happened up to the point when Shigaraki was looking for OFA or for Izuku, so he could take his quirk. Oh, there is Zoro, but I wonder where One for All is, asked Shigaraki. What the hell is One for All and why is he looking for and how is Zoro? Wondered Endeavor. Shigaraki has awakened and he is looking for something called One for All and someone called Zoro, said Endeavor. After Endeavor said that, Izuku started to move away from everyone else. Once Izuku had started to move away, Kasimi joined him and he moved to a private channel. Endeavor, I know what he is looking for and what One for All is, but I will not say right now. I'm Zoro Endeavor, that is my hero name. Let me know if he starts to move from where everyone else is, said Izuku. After Izuku had moved about half a mile away from everyone else. Shigaraki has changed his direction he is headed, said Endeavor. Well fuck, I need to start to use my quirk before Shigaraki gets here. Plus we are too close to the civilians, thought Izuku. Kasimi, if you want to stay up with me you are going to need to speed up. Because I'm going to activate my quirk now, said Izuku. After he said that he deactivated his quirk cancelling cuffs. Once Izuku did that there was some green lighting surrounding him and he shot off with about 10 times as much speed. While I'm lonely using about 10% of OFA and Black Whip for faster movement and to strengthen his body. Few minutes later, Izuku and Kasimi had arrived at the destroyed city of Jakku. The fight went the same as in canon up to the part when Shigaraki went after Aizawa for the first time. Izuku still bull rushed at Shigaraki to stop him from hurting Aizawa. What are you doing here, problem child? You're one of Shigaraki's targets and whatever this One for All, asked Aizawa. Well if you get taken out we all will be shit out of luck, said Izuku. Fucking problem child. Mumbled out Aizawa. Fine, but you are going to need to let us know what One for All is, said Aizawa. I will let you know what One for All is, but if I cannot you can ask All Might or Tintin. Because they know what OFA is, said Izuku. After he said Kasimi did the same thing as Bakugo did in canon, so she shot many explosions at Shigaraki. Are those little fireworks supposed to do something? Asked Shigaraki. After he asked that, Izuku used Black Whip on Shigaraki from behind. Then Endeavor came with a haymaker from the left side of Shigaraki and used his quirk to do a large amount of damage. After Endeavor did that the fight went the same as canon up to the point where Ryukyu stopped Shigaraki from going for his second attack on Aizawa. I'm having the fight go the same up to that part because I'm too lazy to make up something new. Shit, we cannot let Shigaraki shoot that, thought Izuku. Izuku was using Black Whip to stop Shigaraki and had his arm in the mouth of Shigaraki. Shigaraki was slowly pushing his hand through Ryukyu's hand or clay. Whatever you want to call it. Shigaraki had shot the quirk erasing bullet and Aizawa had cut his leg off like he did in canon. Fuck, I do not want to do this but I will do it to stop Shigaraki. Thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that he had nearly ripped off the head of Shigaraki. Once Izuku did that there was a loud cracking sound was made from Shigaraki's neck. But his head stayed on his body and slowly started to heal. Fuck, that will slow him down but that did not do as much damage as I hoped and wished for. Thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that he was sent flying backwards and Shigaraki ran to do his third and last attack on Aizawa. The fight went the same as in canon up to the point when Shoto had got to the fight against Shigaraki. After Shigaraki was slammed into by the glacier of ice from Shoto. Izuku appeared beside him and landed a right hook to the side of Shigaraki. After Izuku had landed the hit on Shigaraki he flew back a few dozen feet. Once Shigaraki had landed he was going to try and use decay on the ground. But his body started to give out because his body was not strong enough. Well, it seems like Shigaraki's body is not strong enough for all of his strength right now. Fuck, we cannot let Shigaraki use decay on the ground and let it spread, thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that, Shigaraki tried to use decay again. But before Shigaraki could place his hand on the ground, Izuku had unlocked the 7th user's quirk float, and Izuku was also using Black Whip to lift Shigaraki and the others in the air. Fuck, I do not have good enough control over my quirk to use Black Whip and now float at the same time. I know that I have good control over OFA, but I do not have much control over float. Because I just unlocked float just barely, thought Izuku. After Izuku was done thinking that, he had noticed that the Black Whip he was using to hold everyone up was on the fritz. So he decided to put everyone but Shigaraki down on the ground. I'm going to need to try and stop Shigaraki in the air so he cannot do much more damage, thought Izuku. After Izuku was done thinking that and had put everyone down, he had started to attack Shigaraki. Few minutes later. Well, fuck, I'm going to need to use some of my named attacks that I have. But before I used some thinking like a Uranus attack, I will use something like a Mars attack. But I'm going to use the Mars attacks in combo with my special move Combo Star, thought Izuku. What the fuck are you doing? You are one of Shigaraki's targets, so you need to get the fuck out of here, yelled out Kasimi. After he was done thinking that, he started to use the full capability of OFA and started to use Combo Star with Mars attacks. After a few minutes of using Combo Star and Mars attacks, once Izuku got to 10 attacks in a constant order, which makes his punches have 5,000 more pounds of force. Izuku's arms and legs are completely fuck up. They both are nearly obliterated even with the healing factor of his original quirk. While the fight between Izuku and Shigaraki in the air with the people on the ground. Hey Ice Hot, cool down your father, said Kasimi. Okay, but how are we going to get up there? Asked Shoto. I will be flying your dad up there, so your dad can light that fucker up like he did to the high-end Nomu, said Kasimi. The events went the same as in canon, even when AFO had taken over Shigaraki's body. So the fight in the quirk world happened the same, but Izuku had done more damage than what he did in canon. The rest of the war went the same as in canon because Mirio did not interfere because he could not. So Best Jeanist nearly got hit by the high-end Nomus left, but Kasimi had got up sooner than Bakugo did in canon, and Izuku tried to do something as well. But he could not do anything. Once Shigaraki was leaving on the back of the high-end Nomus. Fuck, I cannot let Shigaraki leave here. But I cannot use my arms or legs and my body is about to give out again soon, thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that, he used float and Black Whip from his mouth like he did in canon. So Izuku used Froppy-style Black Whip. But once Izuku got to Shigaraki, the same thing happened as in canon. That means Izuku was shot off back away from Shigaraki and the Nomu he was on. After Izuku had hit the ground, he had blacked out and went limp on the ground. Others note: for the people who are wondering about the named attacks, I chose to name them after the planets. The more powerful the attacks are, the bigger the planet is. So it goes Mercury, Mars, Venus, Earth, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, and Sun. Then with the combo start I made it, instead of 200,000 it is 500 more pounds of force added to each punch. The max amount of attacks Izuku can land is up to 60 attacks. So the max attack damage of combo start is 30,000 pounds of damage. But Izuku cannot use the max amount of damage with any named attacks right now. But he can use the max amount of damage with any of his regular attacks. In the hospital with Izuku in his mindscape. I wonder when he will wake up here, said a baritone voice. How said that? Thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that, he opened his eye. Once he opened his eye, he saw that he was in a different area than last time he had a vision with OFA. After all of that happened, the events went the same as it did in canon up to the point when Nana asked Izuku if he could take Shigaraki's life. Can you take the life of Tamura Shigaraki? Asked Nana. Well, I do not know if I will be willing to kill Shigaraki, because I could sense there was a pair but scared presence deep in Shigaraki. But I will kill him if I really need to kill him. But I will first try to bring out the presence deep in Shigaraki. However, I will do what I need to if I cannot do that, said Izuku. After Izuku had said that, Nana had broken down and clung onto Izuku. Once she broke down, Izuku gave her a hug. Hey Nana, I have a question for you, said Izuku. What is your question that you have, Izuku? Asked Nana. Did you have a daughter that was named Inko? Asked Izuku. Yes, I did have a daughter named Inko. But how do you know that name? I thought that she was dead along with her twin brother, said Izuku. So I was right that you look familiar. The reason I know that name is because she was my mother, said Izuku. What do you mean she was your mother? Asked Bruce. Well, I do not know your name, but I know you were either the second, third, or the fourth user. But the reason I said she was my mother was because she had left me in Japan when I was, I think, about 6 years old, said Izuku. After he said that, Nana had given Izuku an even harder hug. I'm so sorry that happened to you, Izuku, said Nana. It's fine, I did not have to live alone for that long, said Izuku. Why was that 10th? Asked Banjo. Well, Banjo, I was taken in and taken care of by one of your old students and one of Nana's friends. He also knows a good amount of OFA, said Izuku. Well, the only two of my friends that knew about OFA were Gran Torino and Shiroemiya. Those two are the only of my friends that knew about OFA, but I do not know which one of them was a student of Banjo, said Nana. Well, that first one I do not remember ever hearing a name like that before. But the other one somewhat sounds familiar. But can I know what this Shiroemiya's hero name is? Asked Banjo. I think it was something like Forge, said Nana. You are right, Shiroemiya's hero name was Forge. But he had died from injuries against AFO when you were killed, said Izuku. Oh, I remember Forge, he was a nice person and had an amazing quirk, said Banjo. I have a question for you, Izuku, said Nana. What is your question? Asked Izuku. How do you have white hair, not green hair? Asked Nana. Well, about 8 months ago I was captured by some the love. When I was captured by them they tried to get my information about the ninth user and how he was. But I did not say how he was. After I did not say how he was they tried to torture it out of me. After he said that Nana gasped in shock. Oh my god, how are you doing? Asked Nana. Well, I have a great daughter and a nice girlfriend, said Izuku. Wait, you have a daughter and a girlfriend, said Banjo. After he said that, Izuku started to vanish from Izuku's mindscape. In the hospital room outside of Izuku's mindscape. I wonder when Zuzu is going to wake up, said Nejire. After she said that, she ran her hand through Izuku's hair. Few minutes later. Mama, has daddy awakened? Asked Eri. No, he has not awakened yet, said Nejire. After she said that the door had opened. Once the door had opened, Nejire and Eri looked to see how it was there. When the two looked at the door they saw that All Might was in the door. Has young Izuku awakened yet? Asked All Might, after he had closed the door behind him. No, he has not awakened yet, All Might. But I know that Endeavor, Best Jeanist, and Hawks have come to see if Izuku has awakened yet because they wanted to know what OFA was. But I let them know that we did not know what it was, said Nejire. Mama, what do you mean? I never remember anyone coming, said Eri. Well, Snowflake, they came when you were asleep. But the only to that came was Jeanist and Hawks since Endeavor is still in his hospital room talking with his family. After she said that the door had opened again and there were Hawks and Jeanist was there again. Hello there Nejire-san, how are you doing and may we know if Izuku has awakened yet? Asked Jeanist. No, he has not awakened yet. But you can ask All Might because he is here. Since didn't Izuku let you know if you wanted to know about OFA you can ask All Might or Miro, said Izuku. Yes, he did say that, said the somewhat robotic voice of Hawks. Some All Might, can you let us know what One for All is? Asked Hawks. Yes, I can let you know it is, but let's go to a different room, said All Might, after he said that the three left the room to look for a safer room. A few minutes later Izuku started to wake up. What hit me? Asked Izuku. You're awake daddy, Zuzu, said Nejire and Eri at the same time. After they said that, they jumped on Izuku and gave him a strong hug. Fuck, that hurts. Can you two let go of me or at least loosen your grip on me? Asked Izuku. After he asked that, Nejire let go of Izuku and Eri loosened her grip on Izuku. How long have I been out? Asked Izuku. Well, you have been out for about 1 week or so, said Nejire. Okay, that about right for how long I thought it would take me to heal even with other people with healing quirks, said Izuku. After a few minutes of Izuku being awake the doctor came into the room. Oh, looks like you have awakened, said the female doctor. Yes, I have been awake for maybe about 10 or so minutes by now. But can I get these casts off of my body, doc? Asked Izuku. Yes, those casts can come off your body, Izuku-san, said the doctor. After she said that, Izuku used his strength to break the cast all over his body. Oh, that feels much better now, said Izuku. You could have done that the whole time, Zuzu? Asked Nejire. Yes, I could have done that the whole time, but I did not know if I would be allowed to do it, said Izuku. I want to let you know how close you were to not be able to be a hero ever again, said the doctor. Well, if I was right with my self-diagnosis, both of my arms and legs were nearly fully broken and I know that my robotic arm is absolutely fucked. I'm going to need to have the robotic arm at my house I was making over the last few months, which should have enough strength that I have now. Hey Koala, can you give me my phone? Asked Izuku. Yes, I can, but may I know why you need your phone? Asked Nejire. Well, I was going to use my phone to use a robot at my house to send me a cast with my new arm that would let me send out my jet and so I can let my costume tank know where I am, said Izuku. Where did you have those things, daddy? Asked Eri. Well, they're in one of the sections that were in the off-limit area. They were in the area called the black box, said Izuku. What is the black box, Zuzu? Asked Nejire. Well, the black box is an area that is filled with tech that me or my adopted father has made that is either too advanced for the world right now or the world will go to war for. So it is a place that is filled with things that anyone in the world would go to war for or would be better to just go up in flames. Pulse, there is a countermeasure for if anyone gets in there without the right password, said Izuku. What will happen if someone does get in the black box with the wrong password? Asked the doctor. Well, my father had made it where there are bombs that will explode the place to hell. Then I added more bombs that will blow around about 10 miles in every decision. Then in the middle of the black box I made something that would create a black hole that would destroy another few miles. Once the black hole has destroyed those miles it will explode as well. So if the person is not killed by the first explosion they should be killed by the next explosion. But in not there is the black hole and if they are not obliterated by the black hole there is the explosion from the black hole, said Izuku. So if anyone tries to steal from the black box they are fucked in the next few miles as well, Zuzu, said Nejire. Yes, you are right, Koala, said Izuku. Okay, you are right about what happened to your body. But if you could not strengthen your body with whatever that black whip-like thing your quirk makes, our body would be out of commission. Even with your strength bones and musicals with your enhancer quirk, said the doctor. Thank you for letting me know that. But may I know how long it will be before I can leave the hospital? Asked Izuku. Well, I think you should be able to leave in the next few hours. But I would just need to do a checkup on you, said the doctor. Okay, thank you for letting me know that. But until you let me know when you are going to do the checkup on me I will be getting what I need from my house, said Izuku. A few hours later, Izuku had been let go and he had met up with All Might, Endeavor, Hawks, and Best Jeanist. But once they had got out of the hospital they all saw a strange tank. If you want to know what it looks like, think of the Arkham Knight Batmobile. What the fuck is that? Asked Endeavor. That is my vehicle and it is a modified version of my tank. Pulse, it has my new arm as well, said Izuku. After he said that he went to the front of the car where Batman sits when he drives. Looks like this will be the first time that I will test my new arm, said Izuku. After he said that, he grabbed the case with his new arm. Once the case was out, he put it on the front of the car and opened it. When the case was opened, he grabbed the case and he put it on and activated it. Oh, looks like I did just fine with this piece of work. But it looks like I'm going to need to use Black Whip, as if it is the bone and the tendonitis, thought Izuku. Okay, I'm going to take Nejire and Eri to Ua, said Izuku. Okay, you can do that, but we need to make up somewhere. But we do not have a vehicle to take us somewhere. So can we get a ride from you in your car? Asked All Might. Well, you can, but there is not enough room in the car that would make it comfortable, said Izuku. After he said that, hoped in the front and then pressed the button that would open the back, which would allow 2 of them to sit back there. Okay, 2 of you can sit back there and maybe 1 or 2 of you can sit in the cockpit. So I suggest for Endeavor and Genus to sit in the back. Then All Might and Hawks sit in front with me, Nejire, and Eri, said Izuku. Why do you want me to sit in the back, not the front, or I can just fly along with you? Yelled out Endeavor. Well, you and Genus are the biggest of all of us, but if you want to try and fly alongside us, go ahead, said Izuku. After he said that, Genus hopped in the back and Endeavor decided to fly beside the car. I will go in the back with Best Genus, said All Might.
Okay, that sounds good with me, said Izuku. After he said that, All Might hopped in the back with Genus.
Once they were in the back, the last 4 had hopped in the cockpit. Let's see if you can stay flying alongside us, Endeavor, said Izuku. After he said that, he closed that top and started the car. Once the car was on, he shot off from the front of the hospital. When Izuku had left, Endeavor shot off after them. Once the tank had reached the point where the car had warmed up, Izuku had fully shot off at nearly its full speed, without the rocket on the back. Hey, are you ready to go faster? Asked Izuku in the cockpit and over the communication for the back. Yes, I want to go faster, Daddy, said Eri. Okay, is everyone strapped in? If not, you will regret it soon. Hey Snowflake, do you want to press a big red button? Asked Izuku. Yes, I would like to, Daddy. Where's the button that I have to press, Daddy? Asked Eri. The button is that one, said Izuku. After he said that, he pointed to a button that was surrounded with yellow and black box. That is the button, Snowflake, said Izuku. After he said that, Eri had pressed that button and the rocket in the back started up and activated. Okay, no, I just need to flip a switch that will let the rocket go, said Izuku.
Wait, did you just say rocket? Asked Hawks. Yes, I did, said Izuku. After he said that, he started to laugh like a madman. So pray to any god you believe in, said Izuku. Once the rocket had fully activated, the tank had shot off with about 100 times as much speed. Can you even control it when you are going to turn? Asked Hawks. Yes, I can. This is a machine that lets you know how hard it is to drive this. That means with and without the rocket. It is about 50 times harder than driving a NASCAR, said Izuku. Few minutes had passed before Izuku stopped using the rocket and started to slow down. Once the tank had stopped, they arrived at UA. Okay, we are at UA now, said Izuku. After he said that, he opened that back in the cockpit. Hey Koala, can you put this in front of every room of 1A? Asked Izuku. Yes, I can, Zuzu. But why do you want me to do that? Asked Nejire. I'm going to plan on leaving Ua and try to stop AFO in Shigaraki, said Izuku. But where are you going to stay when you are out there? Asked Nejire. Well, I'm going to stay at my house, which has been clocked by the clocking tech that I have there, said Izuku. Hey All Might, where is Rumi right now? Asked Izuku. Her location is a secret right now. But why do you want to know that? Asked All Might. Well, I had made some robotic arms and legs for her. I knew that eventually she was going to lose a limb or two. So I had her do some tests that would let me make some robotic limbs and have them calculated to withstand her hits, said Izuku. I could take it to where she is at, said All Might. Okay, but first let me see if I put in how to put them on correctly, or did I put in a machine that would put them on for them if they cannot do that, said Izuku. After he said that, he headed to the back after using his robotic arm to open the back. Once he got there, he took out 2 cases. When the cases were out, he opened them and checked if he put the instructions to put them on Rumi. Okay, I have instructions in them. But I just need to see if the machine is in the back as well, said Izuku. After he said that, he went back to the car and checked for another case. Oh, looks like I do have it as well. Hey, where is your car, All Might? Asked Izuku. After he said that, he had opened the case to see if there were instructions on how to use it. My car is over there, said All Might. After he said that, he pointed to his car. If you are wondering what it is the one that he has in the anime. Okay, looks like I'm not the only one that has an armored vehicle. Hope that it can hold the weight of the 3 cases, said Izuku. After he said that, he lifted 2 of the cases and then put them in the trunk of the All Might's car. Once he put them in the trunk, he went for the other case which Genist was trying to lift. I will take that, Genist, said Izuku. After he said that, he took that case. Then he took it to the car. Once the last case was put in the trunk, the back had dripped a few inches. Okay, I will let you know that they're heavy, so not everyone can lift it, said Izuku. Okay, I will let them know that, young Izuku, said All Might. The first 2 are not that heavy, but the one with that machine is about 3 times heavier than the ones with the robotic limbs, said Izuku. 1.5 months later. Over the 1.5 months, Izuku had been going through the rounds of Japan and he had been defeating the villains that AFO had sent after him. Fuck, my body is fuck, I really need to rest, but I cannot stop defeating the villains that are out. The only thing that was really interesting that happened was the fight with Muscular again, and then a few weeks later with Lady Nagant, thought Izuku. The fights went the same as they did in canon, but Izuku had not as much of a struggle as he did in canon. After he was done thinking that, he had arrived at his house.
Once he got to his house he took his hero costume off so he could try to fix it. After he had taken his costume off he saw that he had what looked like cracks covering his left arm and some of his face and neck. Think of the marks that the fourth user Hikage Shinomori had on his face, but it is much bigger. It covered the lower part of his face, which starts on his jaw and ends on his upper bicep. Fuck, these cracks are getting bigger and longer, mumbled Izuku. A few minutes had passed when Izuku's phone went off. Well, looks like it is the time for the chat with Nejire and Eri. So they do not get mad at me. Especially since I missed that last one, said Izuku. I will need to fake my smile so I do not worry them about me, thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that, he grabbed his phone and answered the call. Hey there, Koala and Snowflake. How are you two doing? Asked Izuku. We are doing just fine, Daddy. But have you been eating right, Daddy? Asked Eri. Yes, I can, Snowflake, but where is your mom? Asked Izuku. She is in the bathroom right now, but she should be here soon, Daddy, said Eri, after she said that Nejire had got on the screen. Hey Zuzu, how have you been lately with fighting all the villains you have taken care of? Asked Nejire. I'm doing just fine, Koala. With the many fights I'm just a little tired with all the villains or civilians that stop or protect, said Izuku, after he said that they all spoke for a few hours. I need to leave and go out for petrol again. See you two as soon as I can, said Izuku, after he said that he put on his somewhat fixed costume and went out to petrol. With Nejire at UA. I'm sorry about not letting you know that when I was out looking for him, thought Nejire. Mama, why did you not let Daddy know that his class was out looking for him? Asked Eri. Well, Snowflake, I did not want him to know because he needs to come back to UA and rest properly. That is little rest he does. Plus I do not think that he wanted to miss his first kid's birth because it will happen soon. I also think that he is not eating right this whole time, thought Nejire. Okay Mama, I see why you did not let him know about Aunt Kasimi and her class are looking for him. I also want to see my new sideling too, said Eri. Back with Izuku in the destroyed Japan, few weeks later, the day that Izuku fights Dictator. Then 1A found him. I need to stop him before he can use the civilians to attack me, thought Izuku, after he was done thinking that he had collapsed on the floor. Once he had collapsed to the ground he was surrounded by the civilians that Dictator had under his control. I need to find some way to disrupt Dictator's quirk on them without hurting them, thought Izuku. They said the same things as they did in canon. So the civilians said that they were sorry. It is just fine, mumbled out Izuku, after he said that he noticed that Kasimi was right above Dictator and was going to use an attack. AP shot, said Kasimi, after she said that she had let off the attack go. Once the attack had been released and hit Dictator, he had lost control over the civilians. I have found him, Kasimi said into her comms, after she said that a few minutes had passed before the rest of 1A had got to their location. What are you guys doing here? Asked Izuku. After he asked that, he started to stand up and picked up his cap-like thing on his shoulders. You are not okay, Iken. You can barely stand with our own strength. Can you even smile anymore, Iken? Because I could tell that you had been losing your smile over the last few weeks, Iken, said Kasimi. I'm just fine, Kasimi. I just need to finish looking for AFO in Shigaraki. I have nearly narrowed down their location by now, said Izuku. Please come back to UA. I can tell that even though you have been calling Snowflake and Airhead about every few weeks. I can also tell that Snowflake had been missing you the month and a half you have been looking for AFO in Shigaraki, Iken, said Kasimi. I'm sorry, but I cannot let you guys take me back to UA, said Izuku. I'm sorry that I cannot go back yet, and I'm sorry that I'm making you worry about Snowflake. I'm also sorry, Snowflake, for making you feel sad about me, thought Izuku. After he was done thinking that he used smokescreen, so he could leave. Once Izuku had used smokescreen, he had jumped out from his position. Fuck, I need to use one of my attacks that I do not have much practice with, thought Kasimi, after she was done thinking that she kneeled down. Landmine blast, said Kasimi, after she said that the smoke had been dispersed. The fight went mostly the same as in canon, but when Izuku had been taken out of the air, Bakugo said that he was sorry for what he did in the past when differently. Because she did not need to do that, but she did say something to Izuku. Iken, I know that you do not want to go back to UA. But you need to rest, Iken. All you are doing is what AFO in Shigaraki wants you to do. Plus I think that you do not want to miss your kid's birth, said Kasimi. I know that I'm most likely doing what they want, but I need to defeat them. I still should have about another month or two, said Izuku, after he said that his body had shut down and he started to collapse and fall to the ground. But before Izuku could fall down to the ground, Kasimi had caught him. The next time Izuku had awakened, I was in front of UA and was on the back of Shoji. Because he was the only one that was just slightly taller than Izuku by about 1 inch. How did I get here? Asked Izuku by groaned out quietly. You passed out because your body was at its limit and Kasimi tried to carry you back to UA. But I'm the one who has carried you back to UA, said Shoji, after he said that they were starting to enter the UA safe zone. The same thing happened as in canon when Izuku entered UA. But when Izuku was led to stay in UA, he did not cry, and Inko did not try to go to Izuku since she is not in Japan. Izuku had collapsed to the ground because he was physically tired and was about to pass out, but before he did pass out, Koda and the fox-like lady he had saved during the Dark Hero arc. After they had let Izuku stay, the 1A's boys had taken Izuku to give him a bath. Once Izuku was done bathing, Izuku went to the common room. Hey Iken, why do you not go to sleep? Asked Kasimi. I need to see someone before I can fall asleep, Kasimi, said Izuku, after he said the doors of 1A's dorm room had opened. But the door did not open normally. The door basically was hit off of its hinges. When the door was opened, Izuku had shot up and entered a fighting stance. Daddy, Zuzu, you're back, said Nejire and Eri at the same time, After they said that, they practically slammed into Izuku's body. Fuck, that hurts. Yelled at Izuku as he was slammed down to the ground. Hey there, Snowflake and Koala, said Izuku. After he said that, Izuku let himself pass out. Mama, what happened to Daddy? Asked Eri. I think that he just passed out because he was tired. Let's just put him on the couch, said Nejire. After she said that she tried to lift Izuku up but she could not. Hey Kirby, can you help me put Zuzu on the couch? Asked Nejire. Yes, I can help you do that, senpai, said Ochako. After she said that she used her quirk to make Izuku flout. The next day in the common room with Izuku, Nejire, and Eri. When Izuku had awakened and he was laying on his back on the couch, he had sent black whip tenders in the air. When the fuck am I? Asked Izuku.
Oh, you are awake, new Iken. To let you know, you are in the 1A dorm room. I assume that you do not remember what happened last night, said Kasumi.
Oh, thank you for letting me know that, Kasumi. But why does my body feel so heavy right now? Asked Izuku. Look down and you will see why your body is so heavy right now, said Kasumi. After she said that, Izuku looked down and he saw that Nejire, Eri, and Rose were laying on his chest or his legs. Oh, that makes sense why my shit-feeling body feels so heavy right now. I wonder when they're going to wake up, said Izuku. They probably will take some time before they wake up, Iken. Do you want anything? Asked Kasumi. I would like something to eat. I have not had something good to eat in a long time, said Izuku. Okay, I will go and get you something to eat, said Kasumi. After she said that she went to get something to eat for Izuku. Few minutes later Rose had awakened. Hey Rose, how are you doing? Asked Izuku. After he asked that, she split up into 3 different parts and gave Izuku a lick on the face. Okay, I can tell that you are happy to see me again. I'm happy to see you, girl, said Izuku. After he said that, he started to pet Rose on each of her 3 heads. About 5 minutes later Kasumi came back with some food. Here is something to eat, Iken, said Kasumi. After she said that she gave Izuku the plate of food she had. Thank you for the food, Kasumi, said Izuku. After he said that, he took that plate and moved into a better passion to eat the food. 20 minutes later. During the 20 minutes Izuku had eaten the food he had and was playing with Rose. Once the 20 minutes had passed, Nejire had started to wake up. Oh hey, good morning there, Koala, said Izuku in a whisper. Good morning, Zuzu. What time is it? Asked Nejire. After a few minutes had passed before Nejire had realized how she was talking with. She gave Izuku a strong hug and awoke Eri because she had jumped up to hug Izuku. Fuck, that hurts, Koala. I think you have awakened, Snowflake, said Izuku while groaning. After he said that, Nejire had let go of Izuku. Once Nejire had let go of Izuku, Eri had fully awakened and noticed that Izuku was up. Daddy, you're up now, said Eri. After she said that, she gave Izuku a hug around Izuku's neck. Can't breathe, Snowflake, wheezed out Izuku. After he said that, Eri let go of Izuku's neck. Thank you for letting me breathe again, Snowflake, said Izuku. After he said that, he started to sit up so he could stand up after laying on the couch for the last few hours. Let's get up so you two can eat something, said Izuku. After he said that, he had gotten up with Nejire and Eri. Once they got up, they headed to the kitchen. When they got to the kitchen, they say that Sato was in there cooking something to eat for breakfast. Hey Sato, do you need help cooking? Asked Izuku. No, I do not need help cooking breakfast, but do you want something to eat? Asked Sato. No, I have already eaten something, said Izuku. If anyone needs me, I will be in my workshop fixing my arm and my hero costume, said Izuku. After he said that, he headed to his workshop. A few hours later, Izuku had gone out with Rose so she could either sit next to him or run around. Over the few hours he was working on his arm and hero consume, he had fixed his arm mostly, he just needed to fix some glitches with it. He had fixed the glitches, but the new coding was just getting downloaded into the arm, which was almost done. While the new coding was downloading into his arm, he was playing with Rose after looking at his hero costume. Once he knew what he needed to fix, he did a scan on his hero costume so he would know what he needed to fix.
Daddy, it's time for lunch, said Eri. After she said that, she went over to Izuku, who was laying down on the grass under a tree.
Hey Snowflake, what do you need with me? Asked Izuku. I was just letting you know that lunch was done, so you and Rose can come and get lunch, said Eri. Okay, I'm coming. Come on Rose, let's go and have some lunch, said Izuku. After he said that, he stood up and picked up Eri and put her on his shoulders. Daddy, why do you not have both of your arms, and why is your other arm on the table with wires connected to it? Asked Eri. Well Snowflake, I was fixing my arm and I just needed to download some new coding into my arm. But it should be done after lunch, said Izuku. After he said that, they had got to the dorm room main building and entered it. Zuzu, why do you only have one arm right now? Asked Nejire. Well, I needed to fix it and added some new coding to it, said Izuku. When should you have your arm back working? Asked Nejire. Well, the coding should be done by the end of lunch. Plus I have added some new things to my arm as well, said Izuku. What did you add to your arm, Zuzu? Daddy, Nejire and Eri asked at the same time. You will have to wait for my arm to be done, and I will let you know and show you because I need to still test them as well, said Izuku. But why, Zuzu? Daddy, you can just let us know what are the things you added to your arm. Winded out Nejire and Eri at the same time. After they said that, Izuku had set down Eri on a chair and moved Nejire to a chair as well. Then he went to see who was cooking lunch and to see if they needed help. Hey, do you guys need help with the food? Asked Izuku as he leaned on the door frame of the kitchen. After he asked that, the people in the kitchen turned around to see how it was there. No, we do not need help, Iken. But what happened to your arm? Asked Kasumi. I fixed it and right now new coding is getting added to it. I would suggest you to take the food off before it starts burning, said Izuku. After he said that, Sato quickly took the food off the stove so I would not burn. Thank you for letting us know that. Maybe that is why this always turned out tasting bad every time we had made it, said Sato. What are you trying to cook? Asked Izuku, as he started to walk towards them. We are trying to cook some fried fish and some fish as well, said Sato. Okay, you are going to need some more breading and egg and some oil as well, said Izuku. 30 minutes had passed. Izuku, Kasimi, and Sato had finished cooking food. Food is done now, said Izuku. I will let 1A know that lunch is done, Iken, said Kasimi. Okay, that sounds good, Kasimi. Hey, on your way out can you ask Koala if she can come help bring the food out? Because I will not be much help with just one arm right now, said Izuku. Okay, I will do that, Iken. I will ask Airhead to help bring the food out, said Kasimi. After she said that she left the kitchen on her way to let everyone know that lunch is done, she let Nejire know that Izuku would like her help bring the food out. Once she said that to Nejire, she and Eri got up and went into the kitchen to help bring out the food. After the food was out in the dining room, only a few minutes had passed before the rest of 1A got to the dining room. You're awake, Izuku, and why do you not have both of your arms? Asked Kirishima. Well, I needed to fix it and I had to add some new coating so it would work. It should be done by now. But it can wait until lunch is done, said Izuku. 20 minutes later. Everyone was almost done eating or was done eating. I'm going to put my arm back on now, said Izuku. After he said that he got up and started to head to his workshop.
Daddy, can I come with you? Asked Eri. Yes, you can, Snowflake, said Izuku. After he said that, Eri hopped up and started to wake with Izuku.
I'm coming with you to Zuzu, Iken, said Nejire and Kasimi, after they said that they got up and started to leave with Izuku and Eri. But Kasimi did not leave alone. She grabbed Kirishima and started to drag him behind her. So you're bringing your boyfriend little Kasimi, said Izuku. What, he is not my boyfriend Iken and I'm not little anymore, said Kasimi. Haha, I can tell that you two are together. So you do not need to deny that, and compared to me you are little, said Izuku. After he said that, he patted Kasimi on the head. Once Izuku had taken his hand off of Kasimi's head, she tried to punch him in the side. But they had got to Izuku's workshop and they saw a pink-haired goblin covered in some soot and grease, and she was trying to get into the closed building. What the fuck are you doing here, you damn goblin? Kasimi asked by yelling at her. After she had yelled, the pink-haired person turned around and looked at the five. I'm trying to get into this workshop because Powerloader is not letting me use any of the school workshops, said the goblin. After she said that she keep trying to get into the building. For the love of God, I had to deal with her again, said Izuku. After he said that, he went over to her and grabbed her by the back of her shirt and then put her under his arm. Open, said Izuku. After he said that, the door had started to open. Once they got in the building, Izuku headed over to a chair and put her down. Sit there, May, and I may give you some of the chocolate you like, said Izuku. After he said that, he went over to his arm and started to put it on. No, you may not work on this, you will just blow it up and I need it, said Izuku. After he said that, May started to pout. Zuzu, how do you know her? Asked Nejire. Well, she has tried to break into my workshop many times before. The only two ways that I know how to stop her is to let her work on something or to give her some of the chocolate that she likes, said Izuku. After he said that, he had fully put his arm back on and tried it out. Once he was done doing that, he went over to a container and grabbed some chocolate out of it. Here you go, Goblin and Snowflake. If any of you want some, I got enough for you to have one as well, said Izuku. After he said that, he moved to the door so he could try out what he added to his arm.
He first tried changing it into a plasma cannon. Then he tried to make the shield appear. Lastly, he tried to make a plasma weapon. Seems like they all will come out. But now I just need to test them out, said Izuku. Think the shield is the one that the Iron Man Mark LXXXV had, but it is the energy shield. For the cannon, think of the one that Bumblebee had. For the plasma weapon, think of energy sword in Halo, but he can change it from just the energy sword to any kind of handheld weapon. Hey, why do we not go and ask some Mentos so you can try them out, said Kirishima. We can do that, but the shield one we can try out right now, said Izuku. Daddy, how are you going to do that? Asked Eri. Well, Snowflake, the way we are going to do this is by either Kasimi or Koala will send an attack at me and we will see if it lasts, said Izuku. I will do it, Iken, said Kasimi. After she said that, she got up and started to move towards Izuku. Once she got over to Izuku, he had the shield activated already. How are we going to do this, Iken? Asked Kasimi. Well, Kasimi, you are going to first send an attack at me, which is one of your weak ones, then go up if the shield is still standing, said Izuku. After he said that, he prepared for the attack. Are you ready for me to send the attack, Iken? Asked Kasimi. After she said that, she got ready to send an attack at Izuku. Yes, I'm ready, Kasimi, said Izuku. After he said that, Kasimi sent one of her weak attacks and let the smoke clear. 20 minutes had passed since Izuku and Kasimi had started testing the shield, and they were getting to some of Kasimi's stronger attacks. What the fuck are you two doing? Yelled out Aizawa, after he had yelled that he used his quirk in Kasimi. Well, we were trying to see how strong my shield is, said Izuku. Why is this not a surprising with you, problem child? Asked Aizawa. Well, you know that I'm a problem child and I'm going to start giving you gray hair if you question what I do, said Izuku. After he said that, Aizawa just started to walk away. I think that we can be done testing the shield now. We just need to find Cementos so we can ask him to make things for me to test the cannon and the weapon. Hey Aizawa, do you know where Cementos is? Asked Izuku. He should either be in the faculty room or the faculty dorms, said Aizawa. Thank you for letting us know that, Aizawa. I will give you some to that drink you like that I make, said Izuku. Hey Izuku, can I come with you so I can see how the two other forms work?
Because I want to see if I can remake them, said May. Fine, you can, but I do not think that you will be able to remake them. But be my guest goblin on trying to remake the forms, said Izuku, after he said that they all headed to the UA staff dorm building to see if Cementos was there. At the staff dorm building, Izuku had opened the door and entered the building. Hey Midnight, is Cementos here? Asked Izuku. No, he is not here. But why do you want to know here and why do you need Cementos? Asked Midnight. Well, I just need to ask Cementos to make some things so I can test the new things that I have added to my arm, said Izuku. Before Izuku could exit the staff dorm building, he was stopped by another person. Hey Izuku, how do you know where the staff dorms are? Asked a male voice. Oh hey Mike, how are you doing? The way that I know where the staff dorm building are, because I had hacked into the UA servers before I joined UA. Plus I regularly check the plans that the rat makes and adjust them if I can see something to change, said Izuku, after he said that he left the dorm building and joined the people who were outside. Okay, we need to head to the staff room because Cementos is not here, said Izuku. Okay, let's go. Daddy, can I ride on your shoulders? Asked Eri. Yes, you can, Snowflake, said Izuku, after he said he grabbed Eri and put her on his shoulders. Once he did that, they all went to the staff room. When they got to the staff room, Izuku had opened the door for anyone to enter, but no one did. Hey Cementos, how are you doing? Asked Izuku. I'm doing good, how about you? May I also know what you need as well? Asked Cementos. Well, I'm doing just fine. I would like you to make something of me to test my new adjustments to my arm, said Izuku. May I know what you mean by new adjustments to your arm, Izuku? Asked Cementos. Well, I have added a plasma cannon and a plasma weapon. I also have added a shield as well, but I have already tested those before. But me and Kasumi were stopped by Aizawa, said Izuku. Okay, I will do that. I also want to see what your new arm can do now, said Cementos, after he said that he stood up and started to leave the staff room. Once they got out of the staff room, Cementos saw that there were more people waiting. May I know what you guys want? Asked Cementos. Well, we are with Zuzu. We want to see what his arm can do now. But the goblin wants to try and remake what his arm can do, said Nejire. Okay, follow me, we are heading to Gym Gamma, said Cementos. Once they got to Gym Gamma, Cementos had used his quirk to make some cement pillars, so Izuku could test his arm adjustments. Okay, I made some pillars for your weapons. Then I will make a block so you can test your cannon, said Cementos. Thank you for letting me know what is for what, Cementos. I'm going to use the plasma weapon first. I'm going to make something simple then go up in difficulty, said Izuku, after he said that he transformed his arm into a simple knife. After 20 minutes had passed and Izuku was on a side that looked like it was made out of bones. This is the last thing I'm going to try out. Then I'm going to try out my cannon and I'm going to go up in power, said Izuku, after he said that he used the scythe. Once he had used the scythe, he deactivated the plasma weapon. When he had deactivated the plasma weapon, he activated the plasma cannon. After another 20 minutes of Izuku testing the cannon. This is going to be the last blast I'm going to use because after this attack my arm will be on cooldown and be overheated, said Izuku, after he said that he started to charge up his next attack. Once about 10 seconds had passed, Izuku had let the attack go. When the attack had been released, his arm had released a fuck ton of steam. Daddy, are you? Asked Eri, after she asked that she, Nejire, and Kasumi ran over to Izuku to see if he was okay. Yes, I'm just fine, Snowflake. All this is wrong is that my skin is going to be a little red. If you want to know how the skin around his arm looks like, it is with sunburned. This is what I mean by my arm will be out of commission for some time. Because I used my cannon at 150% and is the highest my arm cannon can go, said Izuku. Zuzu, when can you use your arm again? Asked Nejire. I can use my arm right now, but I will not be able to use the different forms for maybe about 1 or 2 hours. But I will not be able to go up to 150% for a few more hours, said Izuku, after he said that his arm had changed back to the arm form and it had some steam coming off of it. A few minutes had passed, then the steam had stopped coming from Izuku's arm. Few years later, the Star and Stripes arc and UA Trader arc went the same as in canon. So Star and Stripes had fought Shigaraki, AFO, and she had died and she made her quirk go on a rampage in Shigaraki, AFO. When that happened, it had pushed back a month. The final war arc went nearly the same as in canon. But Izuku had to kill Shigaraki because he could not be saved. Once Izuku had killed Shigaraki, AFO, he had taken a break from doing hero work. During the time that Izuku was taking a break, he took care of his kid that he had with Ryukyu. They had a girl which was named Robin. She had the same quirk as Ryukyu, but she was able to breathe fire and she had abnormal strength. The reason she had abnormal strength was because after Izuku had got OFA, his quirk had become more like a mutation. Robin had about 10 times muscle density as a normal person who did not have a strength quirk. She also has about 2 times the intelligence as a normal person who does not have an intelligence quirk. Once Izuku had gone back into hero work, he had raised the ranks quickly. He had entered the top 10 heroes within the first year out of UA. Within the next few months, Izuku had entered the top 3 heroes and he was about to become the #1 hero in Japan. He had entered the top 10 heroes of the world and was about to change from the position he was in the top 10 heroes of the world. When Izuku got to the #1 position in Japan, he had a kid with Nejire who was number 10 in Japan. Izuku also had a kid with Rumi because she wanted to have a kid with someone. So she asked Izuku if he would help her with one of her wishes she had. Izuku and Nejire had twins, one boy and the other was a girl. The boy had the same quirk as Nejire but had the same advantages as Izuku and Ryukius's kid had. The girl had the same quirk as Izuku, but she had some advantages. She had more energy and she could somewhat fly in the air because of the extra energy she had. Izuku and Rumi had a boy who had Rumi's quirk and he had the same advantages as Izuku's other kids. So Izuku had 5 kids. There are the 4 who were his biological kids and he has Eri as well. The oldest boy's name was Zoro, after Izuku's ancestor Zoro. The second oldest boy's name was Emiya, after Izuku's adopted father Shuru Emiya. The youngest girl's name was Emily,